I should probably turn it on. That lamp. these are all the same fucking place.
Yep.
Like, I
I'm
get it.
multitasking. I'm putting away laundry. Don't mind me.
All
Oh,
right,
kudos.
we're good. Everything's fixed.
Excellent.
Yay.
Then why
Hey,
am
there
I
we are.
still here?
Boom.
Because there's no fixing that.
Ouch.
My therapist would argue otherwise.
If there's a big enough hammer, there's always a solution.
Yeah, anyway, I've never heard this song because I didn't get very far in Skyrim. I just murdered everything and complete all the side quests.
Yeah, if you like side quests, play Kingdom Come.
No, it's SkyQuest. That's the game. That's it. That's
Yeah.
the game.
Yeah.
Parthenax? Who? Never met that bitch.
Yeah, okay.
Literally, no fucking joke.
We're good to start anytime.
1 second here. Gotta make sure all
Do you
this is
think
set
it'd be
up.
interesting to, like, have sex to this song?
What song?
The song we just heard, Soundgarden.
Oh, I mean, that's just you playing your own music, I think.
No, is it? Or is it random?
The DJ is not turned on yet.
Yeah, I haven't paused, so. Well, actually.
Okay, let me know when you start it, because I got my Skyrim stuff going on my end.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is, because you're playing. That
Yeah.
It looks like it's transferring through.
Is it really transferring through the Spotify right now?
Not through Spotify. Looks like it's going either that, or it just so happens that Sarah and Dan are listening to the exact same song at 2 different points.
I'm listening to D&D DJ, and it's playing
Really?
Sky Above, Voice Within.
Yeah,
So if you click
that.
on session chat, it's
Yeah,
like
that's what I
listening
was-
to Spotify. So
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so I guess 2 people can be signed in at once to this thing.
I guess.
That's
I'm just
weird.
listening to it. I don't know.
All right. Well,
this'll be.
let me know when you start, and I'll stop mine.
So I'm gonna start mine up here in a couple minutes. I just gotta figure one thing out that
Right.
isn't cooperating.
Ooh, I can just listen along with Dan. I'm gonna do that. Here we go.
I'm gonna turn my stuff off once he start his though, so that way we can all kind of be in the same.
Great. I didn't know how
Atmosphere.
fucking turned off in the first place. That's all
There we
good.
go.
Okay. All right.
All right, start mine up in 3, 2, 1. Up.
Wait, I'm still my old one-shot character in Roll20.
I'm.
You
a
can change your
pattern.
name. That's a you thing.
Yeah. Just change your
Oh.
name.
Oh, the name. Fuck yeah. Fuck.
I'm keeping
Yeah.
my picture as Jason though. I've decided,
Alright.
even
And,
if he is the exact opposite.
And then you guys should be seeing the map right now on Roll20, right?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Everyone good to go?
Yee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dan, do you have a stream thing going?
Yeah, it's been going. I had it on starting
Oh,
soon
gotcha.
for a while, but I just
Well-
recently transitioned it over.
Well, if that's the case, we'll just get everything going with you guys then. Just fuck the viewers, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're back to the fantasy south. Yeehaw.
Yeah, Fantasy South for the time being. All right. So, last time we had everyone for their own reasons traveling and meeting up in the city of Stormfall, the capital of the Hessian Coalition. While you were there, you had a couple interesting interactions with each other involving meditating in the street, followed by a very soothing interaction between 2 specific characters at that point with very nice ocean sounds to help someone meditate. And from there, you guys traveled and realized there was a little bit of a commotion going on. And there's a mysterious figure entering the gate, causing some kind of slowing effect towards all the people that were entering the city and leaving the city. After that, there seemed to be some kind of commotion going on deeper in the city as you realized there was a riot breaking out as the inner city started to burn to the ground. You made a quick escape, noticing a few people follow your or you followed other people following their tracks down into an alleyway where you made a quick escape through the sewers, meeting up with one of Peace's contacts, so affectionately named Mike. And from there, he said he would have a job for you the next morning, and that for the time being, just lay low and try to make sure that everything stays quiet on your end. And from there, you guys went back to the Dragon's Den Tavern, where you stayed the night. And at this point, it's a very quiet morning. Everyone slowly starts to wake up. You smell this very nice home-cooked meal, bacon, eggs, all that good stuff, just starting wafting up into the upper areas, into your rooms. What are you guys doing?
Uh, So I wake up, and first off, I don't slowly wake up. What's that awful smell?
So I actually got something I want to say real quick before I do my kind of like waking up bit. So I forgot to I didn't really forget, but I didn't know how to say this prior on our last session. So the two people that saw the markings that were on my back in the bathhouse, to those of you who have seen the show Into the Badlands, Clipper tats is basically what I have on my back. So if you don't know what that is, it's just tally marks basically, up to 5, just on my back.
Right.
If either of you wanted to know what any of those meant, then feel free to ask. But otherwise, that's that. But I'm gonna wake up, kind of just not quite groggily, but I'm gonna like sit up, put my paws like on the ground, and then put my hands on my knees, and just kind of like shake my head a little bit, and then walk over to the desk and pick up that note that was in my papers the last time, and then start to read it.
All right. That being the case, hop on over to the DM Whispers. We'll have a quick conversation over there.
Okie doke.
Alrighty. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So you pop open the note, and on the inside, it's a very hurriedly scrawled note. I'll say the handwriting is almost completely indecipherable. There's no way to specify exactly who wrote it, and it seems almost intentionally so. It's very haphazard in the way it was.
Okay.
D&D notes, my character sheet. I need at least 3 monitors. Come on now.
Amen.
And here I am just
Rich
doing
bitch.
this on a laptop, just wildly opening and closing things.
Yeah. That's why I'm like permanently looking at the side. It's because I'm looking at my other monitor.
Anyways, so yeah. Note being read. What's everyone doing?
I already gave what I was doing.
Yeah.
I am waking up and I'm going to first of all go downstairs to find food, and then I'm going to start going through my arrows and making sure that they're all up to snuff, just kind of in a corner downstairs.
Yeah, so after a certain amount of time of you sorting through and getting everything, the same elf that you met the other night comes by with a small platter of food. He says, "It's on the house for you. Here you are," and hands you a platter of seems to be fried eggs, bacon, and sausage.
Thank you kindly.
It's my pleasure, and then walks back behind the bar.
Halfling's gotta eat.
I'm also gonna go downstairs, get some free food, eat like I haven't in 6 years, and then I'm gonna pull out my holy symbol is like a chain of like comically large metal links and kind of like thumbing through them like a rosary, which is me prepping my spells.
Oh, how do my tattoos look?
Same as they were last night. When you even
Sexy.
I'll say nothing has changed yet. Everything seems to be still shifty and weird, but nothing like stagnant yet.
Good sign. I'll go downstairs as well.
Yeah, I'm also heading downstairs
Alright.
for my one and only meal of the day. I
Alright.
need to preface that.
Is that week old bread again?
No, so my character is a vegetarian. He accepts the food, of course, because it's like monks have to it's known for one meal a day. So it's like I take what I am given and nothing more.
Oh my god,
Alright.
he's the anti-hobbit.
Yep. Yep.
You've heard of 6 meals, now get ready for one of whatever people give you.
It's whatever the fuck's there. So you all meet back up at the same table. The waitress comes by and just delivers the exact same meal to everyone. But after a little while, notices that Rain hasn't been touching anything on the plate.
I'm like poking at it.
So she walks over. Excuse me, is there something more you would like? I've noticed you haven't been eating. Is it not to your liking?
I don't eat meat.
Oh, I'm sorry. And she like snatches the plate quickly and hurries back over. Then comes back over with just a plate of like bread and cheese and places it in front of you.
Yeah, I'll take that. Not vegan.
Right,
yeah,
yeah, I was
easier
gonna be
on
like,
the
third question, are
campaign.
you vegan?
Yeah, just to make it easier on the campaign.
Yeah, poor guys. We killed a rabbit. Oh, we found cheese.
I'd like to make
Aw.
a vegan-friendly bar investigation check.
We're poisoning you with some berries we find somewhere.
Oh no.
Oh my god, that would be so good.
All right. So you guys quickly finish up your meal, have whatever small conversation you have between yourselves, and you remember that around the middle of the morning to early afternoon, you're to meet at the safe house that Peace led you to for her. What's the word? Confidant, I guess, is the only word that's coming to mind.
At this
Alright.
point, are there anyone else? Is there anyone else in the room besides the 5 of
This
us?
is-
Okay.
This early in the morning, it's very slow. There are a couple people kind of like trickling in and out just for a quick breakfast before going out to work, but it's nothing substantial. It's very
Great.
like slow in the mornings.
And are we talking just like a dining room, or is there other like entertainment like you might see in other taverns around?
As you look around, there is a small like stage set off to a side with a small fireplace next to it. But that being the case, it's very small and this early in the morning. Again, there's no performances happening there. It's mainly just an open dining room for the time being. But you see, there are different aspects that could be easily converted into a performance area for bards or other performers.
Okay, sounds about right.
Alright.
So now that I've read the note, I'm gonna go downstairs because I wasn't down there before, and I'm going to order just a huge platter of just various meats.
And she kind of like looks at you sideways a bit. That can be done, and then goes back, and you hear like the clattering of plates. It's just like poof, poof, and fall by like something hitting solid. And she comes back with just a platter of slice, like ham, bacon, everything, just on a platter, and just drops it in front of you.
How close is he in proximity to me?
How close do you want to be? Where are you sitting?
I was thinking more off to one side. Like, off to one corner.
Yeah. I was say for the sake of like the ease, you're all sitting at like the same table.
Yeah, same table, but I'm like
So-
trying to say further away.
So Tethys, so there's like a couple open spots, a couple next to Peace, a couple next to Lilith, but there's just like one or two next to Rain. Where do you sit with your bladder meats?
I'm gonna sit by Peace.
So Peace.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
far away from Rain. That's all that matters.
Alright. So I am not disgusted by it.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that I don't even notice the fact that he's disgusted by it, and I'm just gonna just walk over and sit down.
I want to add a point that I have terrible table manners, and I'm like shoving food in, like kind of like absent, kind of covering my mouth.
Yeah, there's like wooden silverware set out, but Peace is just like no silverware. It's off to the side, just like full handfuls kind of thing.
I'm not doing.
I mean, I'm using a fork, but like super loosely. Like I don't use the knife. I kind of scrape it on there with my fingers.
Kind of like Major
You
Pain
do
style,
like
just like
the fork.
just like shoveling it in,
like
basically.
a 10-year-old that has only the most basic grasp of
Yes.
like utensils and can only afford one of them.
Okay. Okay.
You're actually using 2 forks.
Oh god.
I'm just like taking.
I'm probably actually stabbing things with the knives and leaving the fork alone. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm just like taking like whole slices of like ham and just like dropping it.
All right, but yeah, you guys again, you eat your brekkie. You have a very fulfilling morning here, having your small conversations. You step out of the tavern into what seems to be a very slow morning for the city. After what happened the night before, and after just what's been going on recently with the riot and everything, it's a very slow start to the morning. You see, as you step outside, there are a lot of the windows of the upper floors of cities where certain residents would be staying. As soon as people step into the street, the shutters close, and there's like very hushed conversations coming from within.
there's a puddle
I-
right outside where my shoes dripped.
Yes, there is a very small muck puddle to the right of the door. I need what's going to be the order leaving? Who's going to be the 2 leading?
I'll probably lead because I know where it is.
Okay.
To
I'm
the,
going to be the last one, and I'm going to like haphazardly notice like, oh, like everyone's gone, and I quick run after them, no matter what.
That being the
You don't
case,
have to run very quick. I'm super short. I walk super slow.
Well, you got far enough away to where I had to like at least power walk. Like,
You know, in
just-
cartoons where they're like, and they got really fast speed and they're walking really slow.
Yep.
That's
accurate.
me.
All right, Peace. I need you to make a perception check for me as you leave the tavern.
Fuck. I need to print out my character sheet so I don't have to switch tabs every goddamn time. All right, perception check. Ooh. 24.
4. All right. So as I said before, you do notice there's a lot of the shutters closed and the hushed conversations. You do pick up a lot of the conversations that are happening as you're walking through the area seem to be very specific as to what they're talking about. Almost all of them are talking about how there are new people in the street, outsiders, who are entering the city. And it just so happens that right when a bunch of outsiders came into the city, that there was a riot and a fire, and pretty much the aspect of outsiders are causing the city to go to shit. And
I'm
that
hearing that. I'm gonna try and steer our group away from being like, hey, look at that tall lion over there. He's new, isn't he? I'm gonna try and like
all right.
avoid people, but I also kind of, if what people I do see, if I can eavesdrop, I'd like to do that.
Okay. Yeah, so as you are kind of like guiding everyone, I assume everyone's following at this point.
Yeah.
Just the.
Yeah.
Are you leading them directly to the safe house? Or are you trying to steer them? Like
Take the long way
the front?
around,
Okay.
just so that we aren't getting like lots of looks.
So Peace, knowing the city very well, steers you guys down a lot of like meandering, winding paths, like a bunch of alleyways. It looks like people really shouldn't be going down there. Some like very haphazardly placed, like planks and wood. It's usually rotting out over sewers that you're just walking through. But it's safe. You guys make your way over. It takes about what normally would be about a 20-minute trip of walking. It takes about 45 minutes to an hour or so to get back. But you do take a long path. You do kind of make your way into a very peaceful walk. There are still very hushed tones. Peace,
I'm
make
mad.
an investigation check for me.
Me?
Yes.
Also,
Since
I
you
was
said you're-
gonna say, imagine if we were about to get jumped in one of those alleys, and I was just like, I'm like, hey, what's up?
How's it
Keep
going?
going. How was it? Yeah. All right, you said investigation.
Yeah, because you are listening out, like trying to eavesdrop on a couple of the conversations
I
happening.
am stupid, so we'll see how this goes. 8
Hey,
with
yeah,
my -1 modifier.
you hear conversations happening, but it's a lot of muffles and it's a lot of just like the peanuts whenever the adults talk about like nothing. You're not picking up any specific conversations that are happening in these buildings. But regardless, you guys end up after a while making your way to the entrance to the safe house. And again, the door's closed. There is a small knocker on the front of it and two slits, one at normal eye level and one at like midriff level.
I ignore the knocker entirely and kick on the base of the door repeatedly.
And just like last time, there's a slit on the top one looking around, goes, son of a bitch, closes it, then opens the one below. Like, ah.
So wait,
Right.
actually, as they open the top slit, can I just like take my hand and just do that?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like
You
the
just-
tips of my fingers are like barely in like sight, and it's like
I'm just gonna like bare my teeth in like a weird toothy smile and just kind of like.
you point down, you see the eyes roll, and then he squats down, slips it down. Peace, you're back. Glad to see you this morning. And he unlocks. You hear like 3 or 4 locks and latches slide open, but the door eventually opens up. And on the inside, as opposed to last night where it was very dimly lit, maybe like 2 or 3 candles, this morning it is very well lit. There are a lot of lanterns and candles that are lit throughout the area, and you do see that there are 3 different individuals as well as Mike in this area. You see that there is, aside as the normal Dragonborn of Mike, you see that there is a halfling, a dwarf, and a human in this bar as well. But as you do walk in, you get a little bit better view of everything here. It is what seems to be a very rundown warehouse that's been hastily converted into almost like a bar-esque building. So far to your right, you have all the tables, but a lot of the tables seem to just be almost like spinning wheels that are placed up onto their side. So it's just a makeshift table with boxes set around them for people to sit on. But it's very haphazardly thrown together. You can tell this is it being more of a impoverished area. It has that more.
It has a
lower
very
class.
rustic look.
It's a very like thematically rustic look to it.
it's everyone here is poor and they know it. Look.
Exactly. There's no hiding it. But yes, and Mike eventually goes back behind the makeshift bars. There's over here. Come on over here. And waves you over. Now, I told you last time I'll get a couple of jobs lined up for you. Well, I outdid myself this time, if I do say so myself. I got 3 people that are interested in this little company here. Now, I know one of you is a little adverse to the lower moral things that we do here. Is there a specific line of work that you wouldn't mind doing? So staying away from certain things, directed almost like pointedly at Taryn.
I'm sitting here like starting to get a little red, like knowing I'm roped in. I just kind of shrug.
Well, now I assume murder's out of the question for you.
Oh dear God.
So no murder.
I'm gonna
Now-
kind of like grunt happily at that one.
now
Well, at the
what
mention of
about-
murder.
What about high scale thievery, breaking into a mansion, stealing a couple of things, and bringing it back? That too heavy for you?
Depends on the rich person.
Seems a little too heavy for this guy. All right. What about petty
Whatever.
thievery?
Is he-
Just a couple of things.
Is he close to me at all?
Taryn?
Yeah, Taryn.
You guys are all just kind of like blobbed in front of this bar
Yeah.
with the very haggard-looking dragonborn on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, have I met
So-
any of the 3 people who, apart from Mike, are in here? Do I
Um,
even recognize them?
No, you would not recognize any of them. I'll say they're. You do notice. Just actually make a perception check for me.
14.
14. All right, you do notice that the human in particular, even though his clothing is like comparatively nicer, it's still not like nice clothing. He's dressed much better than everyone else here, but compared to what most of the humans in this city would be wearing that aren't like grunt laborers, he seems to be a very like middle of the road, whereas the other two are wearing almost like rags. But yeah, so
Alright.
Mike again looks over to Terrence like, so what about just escort and mercenary work? Is that all right with you? It's nothing shady, just making sure people get to the right place at the right time with no one murdering them. It's that you're the anti-murdering squad.
I'll do what I have to do to get out of here.
That is
Anti-murder would
wonderful
be great.
news. Wonderful news. All right, now the rest of you. So, as I said before, I got 3 jobs lined up for you. Depends on which one you want to take at this point. You can try taking all 3, but the time frame might overlap a little bit. It might be a little tough for you. So the first one's that halfling fellow over there. He's a merchant. Seems to be down on his luck a little bit. Can't really afford any high-scale mercenary forces. So you can help escort him. I think he's taking some people over to Riverbrook down the road here, and he kind of brings out this like very hastily scrawled map. That's, you can tell it is like he made it, and he's proud of the work he did. If you look at Roll20, pull it up on there.
Mhm.
But he's proud of the work he did, but it's a very rough map. So that fellow over there is going to be paying you, I think he's at 300 gold a day of travel. Over to Riverbrook is 2 days travel itself. And from there, I think he wants to take you down to either Halfhill or Millgrove, depending on where he goes from there. You can always take a barge from Riverbrook down. So that's an option there, 300 gold a day. Option 2 to 3 days travel. And then you got that gentleman over there pointing over to the human. He's looking like directly at peace at this point. He's a fancy fellow over there trying to lay low a little bit. He was involved in the riots, it seems, and he wants something taken back from a business rival. Now, can't say it's safe, but you'll be taking it, and it'll take a little bit of a secrecy, and it's not strictly speaking legal. And then that gentleman over there, pointing to the third, he just wants a very interesting job. Someone he is in close contact with seems to wear a pendant around his neck, and he wants it taken. However, it doesn't seem like he takes it off very often, so might be a little bit more difficult, more discreet feelings getting towards that. Any of these tickle your fancy?
To the human, I'll be like, what was going on with those riots?
He kind of like, he has like a mug of some like dark liquid. It's a little bit difficult to tell what it is from this distance, but you can see it's early morning and he already seems to be a little tipsy at this point. Looks like, oh,
Respect.
well, the riots. None of my, I didn't burn anything. None of my doing. I just happened to be wrong place in the wrong time. You know how it is. And as I was making my way, I may have dropped something that may or may not have belonged to me, and someone else may have reclaimed it. And it is a very precious item to me.
Do I believe him?
Make an insight check.
So it was the escort job that was kind of like branching out, going to different places,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
The escort one travels.
Okay.
I keep rolling, but then I keep catching it with my hand, which is
Not bad.
stupid
Your
for some
task, yeah.
fucking reason. So
Just get a
I need
rolling
to get a
check.
dice box. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, it's. You said insight check.
Insight.
Do you have some kind of filter on your camera,
22.
Sarah?
A what?
You have some kind of like filter on your camera right now?
I don't think so. I
Oh,
have
okay.
like edges.
Yeah, so you have the
Okay.
weird edges going.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
think they
It-
did
what it's
that last
doing is
time.
it's,
I don't know what's up
It
with
was
cropping
that.
it
and
was just
zooming in.
chirping me out a little bit. I was like, all right.
I know because
Yeah.
I see your hand like twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, you said 22 piece?
Yeah.
All right. You tell he's definitely holding a lot of information back as to what happened, but as to his actual story, he's telling the truth. I'll say that everything about him just seems very shaken about what happened last night, but he seems to be very forthcoming with everything. He's just holding back a few details that he might not want to be telling people that haven't accepted his job yet.
Also, question: with any of the wooded areas, would any of that fit into my backstory?
I believe in this direct area, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Not in this like section of it. You would be
Alright.
more of the
Other.
northwestern
Okay.
areas.
All right. Because I am adjusting that.
Yeah.
Well, not adjusting, but adding.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Edges
Hey.
are gone.
Fixed.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. Okay.
Anyway. Yeah. So I'm staying silent this whole time. I'm just waiting for someone else to accept a mission.
All right.
Okay.
There we go.
Like my character's fine with whatever. I just need to get to the ocean.
Just ocean.
Ocean.
Sounds like Riverbrook for me.
I think that job will suit us just fine.
So looks like y'all are going for the little bit of mercenary training. I do want to say if you any kind of leans in closer, if you meet anyone that needs a little bit of help, in case you know we're trying to maybe turn over a new leaf, so to speak, and trying to make sure we're not the devils over here. We want to try to be that. So if you find someone that might be a little more not an asshole, send them my way, and we'll see if we can be a little bit nicer. Maybe we can open a separate mercenary company and get everything going again and try to lift everyone out of here.
You're expecting me to find people who aren't assholes?
Well, you're so good at finding the assholes. Just look for the people you don't normally look for. And he kind of just like he looks extremely like vindicated. Like, I know what I said. That is proper. That is correct. There is nothing wrong with that statement.
I'm
he
just
is
like
very-
confused. Like,
He is very proud of that statement. Now
right.
that
I'm gonna be the good guy for a moment and just very gently just tap her head. Just kind of like there.
all right,
Like,
so
she
you,
literally does not understand like the backhandedness of that statement. It's just like,
Confusion.
It's all right.
Like-
We'll figure it out as we go.
Mike kind of looks over. So, if you're going that way, you can speak over to that halfling fellow over there. He should be able to help you out, or she. Can't really tell. And you can tell the person over there has just like little past shoulder length hair, but it's kind of cropped back. So, and it is just like jet black, but you can tell there's little flecks of gray and brown poking in. You can tell, you can especially tell really quickly, a lot of the black is just muck. Like he hasn't had a proper shower in a very long time.
respect.
I respect it. I give him the respect.
And I'll say, as you walk over, he goes over and shakes his head back up at you. Says, "So you decided to take my request then? You're helping and following me, not me, right?"
I
We'll
Like,
make sure you
his-
don't die.
I look him up and down, and I'm just like,
Yeah, his eyes are just
Yes.
like bolting from every single one of you. Like he's not staying on one single person for more than like a second. Like he is trying his best to maintain eye contact with 5 different people at the same time.
I'll ask him in halfling, "Are you okay?"
And he kind of like looks back stunned. He's like, he responds back, I'm fine. I just very new to this situation. used to be a very prominent merchant, and now I'm brought down to where I am now. And as you can see, I haven't really bathed recently.
All right.
Alright.
Well, I
so-
hope the not dying thing is not as new to you.
Oh, I'm not. There's a reason I'm hiring people. I'm not a fighter. I'm not a fighter. That's why I hire people. But the mercenaries in this city are so expensive.
Is he behind the counter or is he in a
But
grabbable?
he's at a separate table.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna walk over to this halfling, pick him up fireman style, and just be like, "All right, short stack, let's get going."
And he's going, oh, and just kind of like accepts it and just kind of like laying limply there. It's like, oh.
I'm just
You're-
gonna start
you're-
trotting towards the door.
So do you? Okay, and this kind of just like flops in your grasp and just kind of accepts it. Well, if this is the way it's gonna be, you can take me to the main gate. We can begin our journey.
I'm gonna look at Lilith and be like, I'm starting to like this guy.
There maybe post riot looking like we're kidnapping someone is not the best idea.
Nah, it'll be fine. I've done this a lot.
Well, if you say so.
We'll be fine. Come on. Let's get short stack here to his place.
Yes.
You know, my name's not Short Stack. You know, I have a name.
And I'm sure it's fabulous. Come on.
He just like look on his face, just like drops and just kind of just like his already limp frame goes even more jello and is just like flopped over your shoulder.
Would like to know your name, please?
Is it really worth your time knowing my name at this point?
It is
As
worth
a-
mine.
It's Sengen.
How do you spell that?
You think I know my letters? You think I've been
I
around
hope
long
so.
enough? All right, you got me. It's SENGEN.
Singing.
I kind of look around at everyone, see if they understand what those words mean. S-E-N? What foreign language?
What is this?
I'm assuming Dan, your character still like got him fireman style.
Oh yeah. Like
I-
he just
I
accepted
grab
it, so
him,
I'm like
I-
muscle pinching him just straight up.
I bump you and I go, "Hey, we're not doing all the work for him."
I'm gonna like
Yeah,
kind of like
freaking
shift the eye, just like, hmm.
He's gotta walk some of the way.
Ah, this is nothing. This is a breeze for me. I'm not even breaking a sweat yet. Let's go.
I'm just
Alright.
making a mental list at this point, seeing if it's gonna be worth my time to teach Rain all this crap. Or not Rain, sorry. Peace.
Teach peace like the actual
Letters?
How to use a fork,
being illiterate.
how letters work.
Well, did you notice me going? It's like he's talking this foreign language to you guys, and you guys are just like, and I'm like,
It's like shit. Yeah. So clarification here, Tethys, are you going out the door carrying him like this,
Yes.
or are you? Oh, all right. So as you guys leave this little
I'm
safe
not ready
space,
to go yet.
okay.
Okay, I'm not quite going out the door. I'm like standing by the door with like my hand that's not holding him up on my shoulder, like pressed against it, like I'm ready to just push it open.
All right.
I'm
What you-
gonna go back to Mike. Mike the Dragonborn.
You chose it.
Fabulous name.
You chose it.
2 of my bosses have been named Mike. It was a habit. Anyway, I have 3 bosses named Mike.
I had a name prepped and everything. And you just went Mike, and I'm like, fuck it.
It could
His
be a
name-
nickname.
His name
To be
is now
honest,
Mike.
you would probably be like, I don't care what your name is, it's Mike now.
We can cross that bridge if anyone ever asks his real name.
It's like a really long.
It's like
Yeah.
8 phrases. There's
Mike.
It's like Mike.
You're a
Circle
Mike
Mike.
now.
The mic isn't even there. It's like, let's get the name of what it is, but it's like the word is in there, but the letters are jumbled around. It's like that, but the letters for Mike is somewhere in like a 24 character name.
I mean, let's be honest. She probably heard that, went, I have an intelligence of 8, and went, Mike.
Mike Wazowski.
Anyways, Peace, what you doing?
I'm gonna give him a really elaborate handshake. No, I'm gonna be like, "Thank you for this last favor. Hopefully, I'll come back one day, right?"
Well, I expect to be seeing you, or at least hear word of you in the near future. So I can't expect you to just disappear off the side of the map. You've done great things for everyone, and now it's time for you to spread your wings and fly away into the sunset. But you got to come back at some.
What the fuck, Mike?
Listen, I heard some fancy folks saying it when their kid was leaving on a merchant trip. I thought it was nice for this, but I guess not.
My character
Anyway.
instantly perks up by the words "edge of the map." Like what?
Well, if it's an announcement for my bail, I hope you guys come together. But if not, understandable.
Don't worry, we'll get something going for you. We'll make sure everything's all right, and we'll do just fine without you.
But thank you.
My pleasure. Now get out of here. And you can see he's just kind of like his normally very like solid face. A lot of his features have kind of like gone a little soft. You can see his eyes are getting a little bit watery as he turns away.
1d6 water damage.
Emotional damage.
Like a
Has never
damage.
said goodbye to anyone in her life, so she just kind of like turns around and walks out.
All right.
Just like,
That's my cue to push that door wide open.
All right.
With
So
short stack in tow.
Y'all make your way out, and as you enter the street, especially with the aptly named Short Stack.
Yeah, he is short stack
over,
to me now.
Over shoulder, this like 3.5 foot like sack of potatoes.
Yeah,
Over your shoulder.
wait, 3.5. Yeah, that is almost exactly half my height. Yeah, he's short stack to me now.
So yeah, you make your way out, and a lot of the people kind of like this area is a lot more industrious, even though it is kind of like a rundown area. This is more of the like working class laborers are. So this is a lot more like busy street than anything else. But as you leave, a lot of the people that like right there with you and like around you immediately just like break off away from you and just kind of like shiftily move away because it's like this guy is carrying another person who is seemingly unconscious because of how limp he is over his shoulder at this point.
As we walked out, I had one hand on my knife and the other hand on my purse, and as they all just kind of disperse, I'm like, oh, okay, and I relax.
All right.
Perks of walking around with a lion.
No
Yeah, see, nobody's gonna mess with me. I'm carrying around someone who they probably think is dead for all they know. Perfectly fine.
All
All right.
So yeah, you kind of Sengen kind of like points you around as best he can as he's like over your shoulders, kind of like reaching around, just like pointing you the direction of the street to get to the main gate. And upon like going towards the main gate and towards it, as you step out of the city itself, a lot of the foot traffic there is not quite being stopped, but is being like forcefully slowed down by the guards there and doing like a quick like inspection over all the goods that are coming in. So a lot of the security based off of how you guys came into the city versus now how you're leaving, other people are coming in, seems to have been tightened pretty strictly, not to the point of like a physical search through every single thing, but the guards at the gate, you get the feeling, are trying to keep tabs on every single person that enters this, no matter what their business could be. So a lot of the carriages and wagons that have this like heavier cargo is being adamantly checked over. Just a quick gaze and making sure that everything in there is being properly stowed to make sure everything is not going to blow up on them, essentially.
I'm gonna make sure my guild tattoo is covered before we come across any guards. So, like, as we go to the more higher end district where we don't have as much power, I would assume I'm gonna wear my titty tat.
All right. So you kind of walk out, keeping one hand covering and kind of like tuck
just
up.
button it right up.
Obviously, you kind of tuck everything up, make sure everything's there. You kind of look out like a little bit stiff, but it's easy enough to make your way out. No one really questions you guys. They saw you. And at this point, they're more satisfied to see outsiders leave the city than anything else at this point. So they just kind of give you a quick glance and just kind of like usher you out quickly because there is not a single human in this party. Whereas this city is
Nothing but
predominantly,
humans.
predominantly human, but very classist. They're very racist towards other people who are not human, or at least some form of humanoid.
They're literally racist.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you exit the city, and Sengen again kind of like leans over and says, "All right, can you put me down, please? I need to." And he starts like frantically pointing towards the other side of the gate, where the gate and the wall kind of like curves around. There's like a small like stable set up, and he's kind of like frantically pointing that way and like trying to squirm and roll now
Okay.
out of your grip.
I'll like let him go enough to where I can put my other hand on him, kind of like throw him up to adjust my grip a little bit, and then set him down.
Okay, make an athletics check.
Whee!
Yeah,
Team
exactly.
Rocket.
You like throw him up in the air.
Athletics. See what we get. Oh, nat 20.
Oh, yeah, you take him and you just kind of like and just like gently place him back on the ground, and his longer hair is now just like a complete just mess. I'll say it's just completely folded over his eyes, and he just spends a good like minute just fixing it and throwing it back into its normal kind of area. But as you're watching him, you notice he doesn't really need to throw it because it's so stiff from all the muck that he just kind of like coats it back, and it kind of slicks its way back into more of like not quite like a slick back look, but he pulls his hands away, and it's he pulls his hands away, and you see they're like slightly stained black now from it, and you see there are like now streaks in his hair where the gray and brown is a little bit more pronounced. And he leads, all right, this way, and he quickly, you see his feet compared to everyone else, it's just kind of like that kind of look, trying to keep up with everyone as he's trying to lead people who are almost twice his height through this area, but he's kind of like keeping the same pace as Terran at this point, as they're just like side by side trying to keep up with everyone.
And I'm like, damn, he's so fast.
But eventually you guys make your way to the stables, and as you're looking around, it seems very run down, very like worn down wooden building. It's the upkeep that's on it is enough to make sure it doesn't collapse, essentially. This is not like a fancy stable like there would be on the other side of the wall. This is very much a functional building just for the traders who can't afford the normal like upkeep of everything. And at this point, he kind of like goes up and turns on a heel and just turns to you, and welcome to my caravan. And you look behind him, and there are two carts. One of them is a little bit smaller than the other, but they're both covered by canvas. And you see the horses have definitely seen better days. So they're workhorses, probably nearing the older part of their life. I'll say they are definitely not high-end horses at this point. But he does just shout now about the payment. I'll pay you upon completion 300 gold per day. I've already paid your employee. That is already taken care of. But 300 gold per day until we reach our destination. Is that suitable for all of you?
And I like try not to.
I mean, I don't need it, but
Yes. That's sufficient.
my character genuinely says that too.
He kind of like looks over and he's like, 250 gold a day.
No,
just
no,
like-
I don't want to lower.
Well,
I
if you
just
don't need it, then I'll just
need
I'll take your cut. That's fine.
it. No, no.
It's
300
I
gold
like
a day.
get up into his face. I'm like, I want my
All of us get paid.
And he goes, all right, 300. It was a joke. It was a joke.
Okay.
Joking. It was just a joke.
Okay.
And then he kind of like slinks back a little bit and just kind of like
Man,
hides
if I
behind.
can push this
next to
guy
the carts.
around. If a
Jeez,
monkey
you-
can push this guy around.
As you guys are like noticing his body language, he is so unsure of himself about the way he acts around people who he just hired that he is very intimidated by just like being around you guys. But
As he should be.
I need two of you guys, so whichever two, to make perception checks for me.
What's
I'll do that.
what's
Alright, so-
mine at?
Lilith and Peace, looks like.
The half elf cleric squad.
Yeah,
Oh.
Elf Cleric Squad.
Oh yeah, I will not be doing that. My perception is a -1.
Oof,
Mine's a
16.
+5. I could do.
16.
15.
Just 15, 16, 15. All right, so you guys, as you're both looking around, you notice there's something missing here. And as you're kind of making glances and you're kind of checking it out, you do notice now that you're outside the city looks much nicer from the outside than it did on the inside. The walls themselves are close to 50, 60 feet tall. This was built for, like, to withstand a siege. They are 3 or 4 meters thick. And as you're kind of looking around, you look back towards the city, and it is gorgeous from the outside. At the very center, you see the tall spires that mark the keep itself. And as you take a few steps back, you notice that there are walls progressively, like, essentially think Minas Tirith meets the city from Attack on Titan.
That's what I'm
Okay.
thinking.
Like,
Okay.
it's a tiered setup on a hill. So everything is progressively getting taller as you get closer towards the center. And at the very top of it is this very large, sprawling keep with very high spires. And it is almost all in the closer 2 rings out of the 5 rings that there are. The inside, most central 2 rings are almost completely whitewashed and made of what seems to be more of like a pearlescent marble. It's like, so as you're walking around and kind of changing the angle, the colors themselves kind of shift more like that pink, purple, green, then revert back once the sun stops hitting it directly into more just that pearlescent silver and white coloration. But as you kind of lower your scope back down to the direct vicinity, you notice that there's no driver for the second carriage. In that one of you will have to be manning the other carriage and driving it. And at
Okay.
this point, Sengen kind of speaks up. So, well, which one of you knows how to drive a cart?
I'm like keeping my distance from the horses. I'm like,
Yeah, I am also doing that. I am just like looking around at everyone else. Like, you guys gonna do it?
I'm gonna walk up to the horses and start like petting them and talking to them.
And you see, like, his face, like, from the initial reaction of everyone kind of like backing away, his face drops. Then he sees you approach one of the horses, and he just gets like his face just like lights up like 4th of July. He is ecstatic that someone is actually taking some kind of like, oh my god, I didn't think this would happen kind of thing.
Yep.
And he bursts,
And,
"Oh, so-"
And I'm
Take
actually
one
speaking to the
horses and go.
horses in Elvish.
okay. And what started out as being like a very unruly horse, as you approach, kind of just like throwing his mane around, kind of relaxes his posture as you start to talk to him, kind of relax him back down to more of a normal state for what a horse would be in waiting.
Good. Old man speaks 5 languages, by the way.
was it
Shit.
Sylvan or Elven?
Elvin.
Elvin, yeah.
I walk up to Short Stacks and I just say, I'm sorry to put this on you right now, but I need to do my mid-morning meditation.
And he kind of like looks up at you, like, okay, are you gonna do it here? Or-
Do you mind if I do that in one of the carts?
well, the carts are a little full. You can probably find room in one of them. And he kind of like lifts aside one of the curtains, and you can see it's almost filled, like completely back, with just crates and barrels that are just kind of like strewn across. What you would normally think of like a very structured barrels and crates is just kind of like haphazardly thrown into the back of it just to get the supplies in the wagon themselves. And then you kind of look back at the frame and you kind of
No one
understand
was
this guy
paid
doesn't
for
have
them.
this guy doesn't have the strength to be able to organize this back here. So he
Yeah,
just
and
kind
no
of
one was paid to
Exactly.
organize it.
exactly they're just haphazardly thrown back there. But he does kind of like motion in there, and you can find a spot easily enough, just kind of like shifting a couple of the barrels and boxes around to find a little seat in there, and you plop down and you meditate as best you can in the back of a cart.
Yep.
I'll toss a stone in there
Just
with the waves.
all right. So you
really
have
trying
this-
to make this work.
You have this like hustle bustle of like the inner city stuck in your head. You're kind of like struggling a little bit. You're just like, okay. And all of a sudden
Okay.
you just start hearing this like shh of just these crashing waves, very relaxing. Then all of a sudden you
Make
just go,
check.
okay. You just kind of relax back down into it. And you find yourself in, like, just like previously, just a state of zen that you
Alright.
normally wouldn't have been able to get in this situation.
I'll look around and be like, can anyone else drive one of these?
And then Sengen raises his hand like, well, I'll be driving one of them. So I just need one of you to drive the other one. Don't worry, they're nice beasts. They're not mean. You see him kind of reach up to try to like pet the side of it, and kind of like snips at him a little bit. It's like, okay, and just draws his hand back.
Oh, I say something again to the horse in Elvish and be like, fine, guess I'll do it.
And you're just like, okay. And
I do want to point out that I do actually know Elvish.
you do?
Yeah.
I do.
Yes. That's why we have two half elves. We do have two people that know Elvish here. Yeah, so you guys get everything organized, get all your gear gathered up, and we have Taryn and Sengen that are kind of mastering the horses at this point. And as you guys get farther away, I need Taryn to make an animal handling check for me.
I knew it was coming. I was like, I'm the only one that actually has this, so.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do
Oh,
anything.
and it's awful roll. It's a 7.
A 7. Actually, roll with advantage because you calmed him.
Oh.
So you would get a boost to this.
Good
Not
shit.
better. It's 13.
13. Okay. So you kind of struggle a little bit at first to get them like going forward because these aren't fresh horses. They're kind of reluctant to move because they're just like, yeah, we're old. We've been here a little bit. Let's just chill. But eventually you get it moving, and as well as Sengen, who eventually gets everything moving as well. I need 2 people to either be lookouts or just in there. So you have Rain, who's meditating, so he's
Yes.
kind of out of it.
Yeah.
So between Lilith, Peace, and Tethys and Taryn, I need 2 people to be.
Up next to Taryn
looking out.
and be the lookout.
Okay, and also, how is the arrangement for this? Like, are there going to be everyone riding in the carts, or people going to be walking? How are you guys going to be traveling?
I'll go next to Sengen.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, put Sengen's cart in front,
All right.
and then I'll go behind.
All right.
Okay. Then is there room for would there be room for me to sit on the back on the outside of one of the carts?
These carts, they have like a lip to it, but it's the way everything's packed in. It's kind of haphazardly thrown to the point where there's no like step down. It's just a solid brick wall kind of thing, or I guess wooden wall, not brick. Fuck. And words are hard. So of just like this solid platform where everything is. You can kind of shift things around to make it work to have a seat back there to look out the back of it, but there is still room inside as well that you can like kind of mosey on. In there.
I'm gonna walk and take up the rear then.
Okay. So we have Lilith is with Sengen. Rain is meditating in the back of the cart.
Yep.
Tethys is walking, and Peace. Where did you say you were?
I guess I'm gonna
Or
walk
me.
alongside the second cart with
Okay.
Taryn.
Okay. All right. So that being the case, again, I need 2 people who would be keeping watch in the situation. Roll perception checks for me. So Lilith and one other person. Peace.
do it.
All right. I assume that's just how it's going to be forever.
Probably.
we have two clerics, 2 clerics, 2 wisdoms. They're going to be the only ones doing this shit.
It's a crisp 9.
Crisp 9 and
14.
14. All right. So as you guys are making your way like down this path,
Moving
Peace.
fast.
you're not walking fast. It's a very slow pace with everything going. You're not making your way that quick. And you're not homebound,
Homebound.
bitch.
We're also going the opposite direction of downtown.
So
Yeah.
So you guys start making your way down, and Peace immediately kind of starts looking around, and this is very different from where you were raised in the inner city and like where you have been the past few years. And you're just kind of like spacing out every once in a while as you see the wildlife, and as you're walking alongside these carts, see a lot of the foot travel. You're kind of like looking at some of the people, seeing if you recognize them, but your mind is everywhere as you're looking around at this new environment.
I am instantly in a better mood.
And Lilith, as you're kind of like surveying the area, you notice a lot of the people who are coming into the city at this point, you're kind of giving a quick like run through of what their cargo could be and would be at this point. And a lot of it seems to almost be like emergency supplies. You see a lot of the markings on the boxes have like markings of various medical supplies and various medical markings, as well as like foodstuffs. So a lot of like sacks of grain and things that would help kind of pick up the city after what happened in the past couple of days. But otherwise, there's not really anything much going on this leg of the journey. But you travel for say a few hours. The sun starts getting much higher in the sky as it comes to around noon, 1 o'clock. And immediately along the sides of the road, the tree coverage starts to kind of get more and more dense as you're going through. Up till this point, it has been mostly open farmland and a lot of small like farmhouses that are tilling the soil, making sure that everything is. This is kind of the breadbasket of Coalition. So everything is much more rural than anything else. So despite being so close to a city, this is kind of what's keeping everything afloat in this area, as the main export of this would be foodstuffs. But as you make your way farther down this road, everything just kind of starts getting closed off and more claustrophobic as the trees start to get more and more dense in this area. And as you make your way further and further into the day, eventually the sun starts setting and you finish your first day's travel. And Sengen kind of looks over and looks behind to Tara and says, "We're stopping. We're gonna stop here in 3, 2," and then he kind of like hurriedly grabs the reins and like tries to stop him. What? 1, and eventually stops. And the horse is, you can tell, is not happy at being just like yanked on, but eventually throws his mane a little bit and settles back down and kind of leads. You lead the carts over. I need everyone to actually, let's do the same 2 people. Make a perception check just to try to find a suitable area to camp here. And I guess I will have one for Sengen as well, because he would be...
Can I just roll for it? Just because why not?
I mean, I have
No,
+5
we're gonna-
perception.
Okay.
We're going to limit it to 2, just so that way we
Always
don't
before,
have 5 people rolling perception check for literally everything. Just to
Okay.
kind of limit everything down to a much more ease of access kind of thing, instead of just, like, when there is an opportunity for everyone to roll, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Just so that way there are certain situations that will require it. But for stuff like this, just where it's like finding a campsite, keeping watch, stuff like that, we're going to limit it to 2 people, just so that way there's not this clusterfuck of rolls happening in one
Yeah.
situation.
Okay, so then while they're doing that, I'm actually just gonna go around to both the carts and just make sure all the cargo's secure.
Okay.
Make sure nothing was like knocked loose or anything during the trip.
Make an investigation check. What were the perception checks for you 2?
24.
23.
All right. Yeah.
Well
God.
then.
Hold on, Dan. Yeah, so you guys kind of look around and you immediately see a little bit past the tree line. There's this large open, like almost grove, where there's a lot of like more trampled grass and seems to be almost like a small animal trail leading back to this large open area. And you guys can easily steer the carts in that direction and get everything packed up. And it seems to be a very safe and secure area to make camp for the night. So even being so far away from any civilized area, this is a very nice spot to be sitting comparatively. And what was Tethys? What was your roll?
8.
8. Everything seems secure. I'll say
Okay.
for the most part, you do notice that along the trip, Rain is kind of sprawled out at this point. Still,
Yeah, I'm getting all knocked about inside there.
still in like a meditative state, like he's relaxed still. And you open it, you do still hear like the crashing of waves, but for the most part, he is very like, just like, he's been knocked around a bit. He's
Yeah.
still sitting mostly, but he's more leaning over onto a crate.
I'll say after, like, if it's been a couple of hours, I do eventually, like, stop meditating.
Okay.
Because my character wouldn't meditate for too long. So
Yeah.
I try to get out of the cart while it's moving.
All right. You just kind of like shamble your
Yeah.
way out.
Yep. It's not moving too quick, I'm assuming.
No, you're not moving very quick with these horses. So you're able to like pretty easily just kind of like, and just kind of hop your way out. You try to do like cool monk shit, trying to like 3-point landing. You do it more or less.
Superhero pose.
Exactly. But no one's watching. And it's just kind of that like, you think about yourself as like, yeah, that looked cool. That looked cool
Yeah.
in my mind.
Yeah.
But for the most part, there's no one really around in this area to see it. But you guys can make camp for the night in this area. you guys have anything you want to do before you bed down?
Sengen,
like-
do you have food for these horses?
He's, oh, thank you for reminding me. And he kind of shuffles back behind to one of the carts and grabs like a small sack of grain and 2 smaller bags that he quickly hooks up around the ears of the horses and his little feed bag that he fills full of grains.
I'm gonna put my hand on his shoulder and say, never forget.
And he immediately his posture changes from that proud oh good, I remembered, I did it. And then you say that and he immediately just kind of okay, and just kind of shrinks back down.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with that perception check, I've been hemming and hawing all day, and so we're sitting, and I'm gonna sit next to Taryn, and then I'm gonna sit there and just be awkward for 15 minutes. And then out of nowhere. I am sorry for dragging you into this. Forget it's not not everyone chooses this life. So I am yeah. I'm gonna get up and walk away.
Hey, peace. To be honest, I could use the adventure. It's been too long since I've done anything. And none of my people are around to see it, except for that guy. So, might as well, right?
Still, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go find some food. And I grab my bow and arrows and start to walk off into the forest.
I'm literally gonna turn around. I'm gonna pull this flask out of my cleavage. And...
How has that been staying there?
Why does she slosh everywhere? So weird.
It's not even well hidden.
On
It's just
hand.
It's just
quite
poking out.
obviously.
There's a straw hanging out.
It's a crazy straw.
Oh god.
Dear Lord.
You know the
God.
boob shots at Renfest? Like
Yeah.
that.
Oh god.
Oh,
was Sengen
dear.
the one with the map?
That was Mike, but he gave you the map as kind of this
oh,
this
we
is
have
what
it.
yes, you do
Yeah.
have it. It's still up on Roll20 if you want to.
Yeah.
Mike's map.
So
but
where
yes.
where about on the map are we right now?
Right now you would be a little bit past that intersection.
Okay. So I'd say right here maybe,
Yeah, just about.
roughly. Okay.
Yeah, I'll see. You're about halfway between Stormfall and Riverbrook.
We
Oh,
were
so
so
you
much
there?
closer
Okay.
to the
Yeah.
ocean.
So I was almost spot on with that one. Okay.
What was that?
We were so much closer to the ocean.
Yes.
Yeah,
you
we
were
were
right-
we were we were
Going
right
in the
there.
opposite
I'll say
direction.
you were less than half a day's ride to the edge of the ocean.
Walking I feel like I'm getting farther away from my goals, but I can't explain why.
Yeah, but my character, that entire meditation, it's I heard the ocean, so I'm must be getting closer.
The entire time,
Uh,
he's got the relaxing waves we're almost there. I can hear it. God.
Must be just along the horizon.
must be just past those trees over there. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, it's just more trees.
I need
Ohio be like.
Taryn,
Yeah.
make a survival check for me.
I was just
since you
about to
are-
ask. Can I
yeah.
roll for my hunt?
Yeah, since you're going out to get some fresh food for everyone.
18.
18. Yeah, and you come back 3 or 4 rabbits slung over your shoulder, tied up. Each of them has an arrow hole just stuck directly through both eye sockets. I'll say it is very,
Nice.
very easily
Tub.
skewered. No meat's wasted, and everything is just. It was almost too easy for this little guy.
I
But-
look at those rabbits and then I go scavenging for berries and such.
Make a survival check.
Oh yeah.
Good luck, have fun.
Rolling the dice. Oh no.
You get
I got a 9.
9. You find a pretty decent amount of berries, but all of their size is just they're tiny little things. You have a double handful of them, but they are just less than a dime size for each one of these. They seem to be some kind of like wild strawberry, blueberry situation, but they are just these tiny little berries. And as other people are kind of looking at them, you notice that most of these aren't ripe yet. They are, he pretty much just went around, just picked whatever he found, not knowing what would be, strictly speaking, edible.
Yep.
Like the little sour as fuck blueberries that like legit aren't worth it.
The
Like,
best one.
Exactly.
He ate week
that's
old
why I
bread.
have
He'll
personal
probably be
taste.
fine.
Exactly.
I look at him and be like, hey, you're 3 weeks too early for elderberries.
I just like I don't even look. I'm just like start eating them.
You could have dug up some tree root and been fine.
Nope. This is
Stuff
what
that
I'm
makes
eating
total
tonight.
sense. Yeah, you guys make camp pretty quickly, pretty efficiently with your fresh food and not so, I guess, a little too fresh berries at this point. And you guys make camp pretty quickly. Is anyone keeping watch tonight, or are you guys just bedding down all at once?
I'll keep watch.
How do you guys
Wanna
want to break
rotate?
up? I'll say, how do you guys want to break up the watch at this point then? Do each of you want to take a watch, or do you want to double up?
Doesn't matter to me.
I'll double up.
Okay.
Sis can't sleep yet. She's like, what are all these trees?
All right. Who's staying
Like,
up?
this floor's alive.
Who's staying up with Peace for first watch then?
Oh, I said I was
Tethys?
already.
All right.
Yeah.
So Tethys and Peace for first watch. Second watch.
I'll do second watch, but
Second.
yep.
Okay. We're gonna.
I'll do second as well then.
All right, I'll say for the ease of everything, we'll do 3 watches then. So
Yeah.
we have.
watch.
I'll say so. Third watch for All Alone, Lilith.
Wake up singing.
I'll actually offer to wake up halfway through Lilith's second watch or Lilith's watch to help. Gonna be a second.
Okay.
I'll slap
Yeah.
Singin awake when I get there.
All right.
Okay.
He's got to pull some weight.
Sengin will help with the fourth watch, then,
Mhm.
or third watch then. All right. So you guys all bed down for the night. I need Peace and Tethys to make perception checks for the night.
Okay.
19.
19,
Oh, 12.
12. So excited for a 12.
Hey, that was a lot better than what I thought it was gonna be. I'm not gonna lie.
A -1 though.
Yeah. And that is exactly why I was like, this is not gonna go well for me.
So your watch goes by uneventfully. Peace, especially as you're looking around, getting caught up in all these new sounds and experiences that are happening here. Sounds you haven't heard in a very, very, very long time. As you're kind of going through and hear a lot of the like creatures of the night just kind of making their way burrowing. Every once in a while, you do hear louder like trampling us through, and you notice a couple of deer passing through the area, but nothing eventful happens during your watch. Second watch, roll for perception. What's up?
So, would I see the deer trouncing by at all, or like with my?
You would hear them with that perception check. You wouldn't be able to find them. You'd hear them.
What about with my smell? Could I find them that way?
You smell. You'd smell they're around. They are around, but you wouldn't be able to pinpoint the location with that perception check.
Darn it. Okay.
Yeah. I'll say,
can.
I was
with the
gonna-
12, you wouldn't be able to.
Okay. Could I like have Peace like point them out or like ask her like, hey, do you see or like? It's gonna be weird me asking if she smells them, but I'm
Yeah,
gonna.
go for it. You guys can have a conversation about that.
All right. So I'm gonna like pick up the scent of the deer and ask, hey, do you see any deer around? I can smell some.
Well, I hear them that way.
Okay. With that, I'm going to kind of like look and almost like sniff, like lean forward in that general direction, and just try to like get down all fours and kind of like stealthily start.
All right.
Like-
As Peace points
Smell
them,
of sewer and blood coming off of me.
So
Alluring.
once Peace points them out in like their area, you do see that there are 2 deer kind of grazing in the nearby area. If you are going to try stalking them, I need you to roll for stealth.
All right. Ooh, I rolled a 15 plus 5, 20.
All right, yeah. You get down on all fours. You just kind of like stay close and just kind of prowl, and pretty easily and pretty stealthily, you feel you have easily snuck up on them. They kind of raise their head a little bit, look around, but go right back down to eating.
All right. I would like to try to leap and like just kind of pounce on one of them.
Roll to hit.
Would that
Basic,
just
normal
be
attack?
okay?
Normal attack roll.
Unarmed strike. Here we go. Ooh, 22.
Oh yeah, no problem. I'll say you kind of sneak up and then immediately just pounce and get on it. Roll for damage.
All right. That is a 7.
7.
Max
It's a deer.
damage.
It's a deer. It doesn't have that many hit points. You leap on it, you grab it, and you just give a quick like slash right across its throat.
No,
as it
I'm
just
gonna like
slowly-
put my teeth in its neck.
All right, so you go down, you just bite it straight down, just rip its jugular out, and it just slowly, just limply falls to the ground as the other one scatters away and runs. But
Awesome.
you have successfully hunted a deer.
Excellent. All right, I'm gonna like. Oh, so I'm gonna get back up on my hind legs and grab it by its hind legs and just drag it back to camp.
All right. So, Peace, you're sitting there. You hear a little bit of a tussle. You see him jump behind a bush. You hear like dying sounds of some weakened animal, and then, like about a minute later, you see Tethys just dragging a full-grown deer carcass
With
behind him.
a very bloody,
Yeah.
toothy grin, I'm gonna
Like-
say, "I caught breakfast."
Great.
And I'm just gonna like slug it onto the back of one of the carts for now.
All right.
You
And
know
with,
how hard it is to get blood out of wood?
Tethys does.
Untreated boards.
you think these are treated? Please. He can't afford treated.
Tethys does not care
Deer
about
is
that
loaded
remark.
with splinters.
Yeah. You drag it out. It's just like splintered half to hell. Yeah, you guys wake up the other two for the second. Oh,
Before I put it up against the cart, I'm actually gonna spend the rest of my watch cleaning it.
so you're like doing a full.
Yeah,
gutting it, prepping
yeah.
it?
I'm just like using my claws and just like dig through
Okay.
this thing.
Make a
Now
medicine
we
check.
know
Have you washed
why.
your hands?
Make a what?
Make a medicine check.
Medicine check.
Medicine or survival. I'll let you choose.
Which
pretty
one's
sure they're
better?
both
I'm
with-
pretty sure they're both crappy.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure they're both
they're
wisdom.
both.
So
Yep, they're both crappy. I'll do survival. Screw it. Oh, okay, a 13. Again,
13?
a lot
Yeah,
better than what I thought it was
without-
gonna be.
without too much issue, you're able to just like slowly start carving into this and are able to prep it pretty fully before your watch ends. But that does leave
Perfect.
Peace with the lion's share, no pun intended, with
Like
of
can't
the
look
watch.
away, but like
Yeah.
I'm like
Yeah, I'll say it's you.
Just
happened, like,
watching in horror.
like about an hour into your watch, you see him leap out there. Then the next hour is just him carving into this and prepping it while you're trying to keep watch on your surroundings, but you kind of scan, then eventually just flick back over, just like, oh god, he's still at it, and then return back.
And I am not trying to like be quiet or hide any of this. I'm just like all at it.
But with the grisly business done, you guys bed down, wake up the
And
next
I'm
day
gonna
for their
throw
watch.
the remains just
oh,
off.
I'm like desperately I'm like wake up, wake up, wake up.
Please, please.
You know?
So
Uh,
you easily wake up Karen and Rain. Rain a little bit less so, but
Rain every single time he wakes up always will do the and there's no calm waking up for Rain.
but you two wake up for your watch. I need you two to make perception checks for me.
14.
14.
I rolled 20. We did it
20.
before the whole
Yeah.
lion hunt.
All right. So yeah, you guys, your watch is mostly uneventful. Pretty much the same situation as that. Not too much happens. It's pretty relaxing in this area, especially with the 20. You're in your element at this point. I'll say being out of the city, more into the wilderness, you are kind of finally coming to terms with the fact that you've left your smaller village. And even though you went for what was supposed to be more of a shorter trip just to get supplies and come back, you feel more at peace in this area as you're kind of just relaxing and enjoying the sounds of the night and kind of sink back down into your watch and keep almost a perfect watch on everything that happens in this area.
I would
Okay.
say, since I have a 14, my character would also be more tense through
Okay.
the night. Well, you know my backstory, JD.
Yeah.
So yeah, So I am like, since I'm from a forested area, I am a bit more tense through this watch.
Yeah, and especially with that 20, you would definitely notice the characterization of him just kind of the
Yep.
difference between him in the back meditating and being like zened out to him just like immediately just stiffened, intense in this area, kind of looking around.
All right, do we just have raw meat lying around?
Currently, there is a fully prepared, skinned, and gutted deer carcass towards the back of the caravan.
Bro, that's gonna not only go bad, but it's gonna attract everything and anything that wants to kill us.
Justin knows what's up.
Rain is thinking about something, but he's not going to do that.
All
But I
right.
don't want to cook it now. I think I have to cook it now.
Meat doesn't go bad like immediately. It takes a little bit for meat to go
Listen,
bad.
it's called dry aged.
I'm more worried about this random dragon just dropping on our
Level 2. All right, CR 20 ancient dragon. Let's fucking go.
Alright, I'll leave it.
All right. Anything else you guys want to do before you bed down?
My,
do
have you
a
know, my
mini
wilderness survival
meditation.
instincts are going off the charts right now.
Yeah, you're very like you're looking back at the carcass, especially like you should have
No,
done
no,
that
no.
like
That's not how we
a
do
mile
this.
away from the camp to make sure they don't come. What are you doing? And you're just kind of like, again, you're keeping a very good watch, but every once in a while you look back and just kind of like pinch the bridge of your nose, like, oh my god, and just kind of go back towards like this is not how things should be.
Yeah, I try to meditate, but I like, even if you activate like crashing waves, I am not like becoming less tense. But I try to do like a mini meditation.
Yeah, so you after a certain amount of time you can relax, not like fully like depressurized, but you're not quite as on edge. So you kind of slink into it, and you kind of towards the end of your watch, you kind of get into your more of your relaxed element towards all this.
Yeah.
But again, your watch uneventful for the most part, besides the shock of seeing a deer carcass towards the back of your caravan. You bed down and wake up the third watch, at which point Sengen just kind of like you wake him up and he's just like balled up, and you wake him up, he immediately just like it's almost like the
He goes,
ew. I say it's almost like the kitten where you see like he attacks the stomach and then he just goes like wow kind of thing. He kind of just sprawls out and is just like and gets up and eventually like, oh, it's okay, and gets up and goes next to Lilith and just kind of like, is it okay if I and just kind of like starts nudging his way like as you're sitting there like into you a little bit and just kind of like trying to get his head like under your armpit.
She's like, no, you're really greasy. I'm not. I don't accept this.
And he just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, she's gonna hold her hand axe backwards, so like the sticks pointed at him is like,
just poke him away. You poke him a couple of times, he just kind of like, oh, okay. I'm glad you're using that side, not the slashy stabby side. And he kind of like shuffles towards the other side of the camp at this point, like 180 degrees from you, and is now just like looking at you during his watch, kind of looks around and like focuses back on you, making sure that the hand axe is put away, and it's just kind of like, and he kind of like looks at you and says, oh, okay. He kind of looks around. Roll perception checks. That's fitting.
Oh god.
10. It's better. Sengen rolled a 6. So Sengen, you're a little more focused on just you're looking around, and Sengen just kind of like spaces out and just kind of looks at you. And every 20 minutes or so, you have to like refocus him. But because you spend so much time getting this fucking halfling to not doze off and look into random areas, you don't notice anything going on around you. So you are almost completely like oblivious to the surroundings. It seems like a pretty relaxing watch for the most part. The fire is still like embers, you're warm, but you don't notice anything happening. Everything is very, very calm in this spot. But then at a certain point, you start hearing like growling and then it kind of gets louder, and you start hearing something getting kind of like torn and dragged. And then you look behind you, and you see there are 3 wolves that are tearing into this deer carcass and like pulling it away deeper into the woods.
I whack Terran. Get up! Wolves! Everyone up!
I immediately jump, grab my Minotaur horn bow, and knock.
All right. As you guys are like getting prepared and everything, these wolves, as they notice you, are getting more concerned about getting the carcass away from you guys and away from the fire than they are about trying to start a fight at this point. They are very much just like, this is a free meal. This is our free meal. We're taking this away. And what'd you roll for perception? I'm sorry.
For me?
Lilith? 10? Yeah. Actually, yeah, with that, you probably... Yeah, with that, you notice that as you're taking a little bit of a closer look at these wolves, you notice they don't look like the normal wolves that you would normally find. They look much more akin to like wild dogs. And knowing, especially Terran, what you would know about wild dogs, they're not necessarily in it for trying to kill everything. They're hungry and they want food. So they're kind of, there's one of them that's kind of like skirting towards you guys, but it's kind of like his back's towards you as the other 2 start slowly dragging the carcass into the woods. What are you guys doing?
I am waking up very angrily with Lilith trying to get us all up, and I am instantly all fours sprint chasing after this, because that is my food.
All right. You pretty easily can catch up to them. They're the one that's kind of between you guys immediately bolts upon you charging at them. But the other 2 are still like, they're starting to kind of like nip at it and move away, but they're on the verge of running away and staying for their meal. How are you charging at them? Are you just all fours just
Yeah, all fours gunning it, and once I get fairly close, I'm actually going to Daunting Roar at them.
Okay. Yeah. Is there a roll required for that, I believe?
Wisdom saving throw DC 12.
All right, well, one of them fails, the other one succeeds. So one of them immediately just like drops, and you hear a little as it just sprints away. The other one just kind of like, it's now seeing that there is a like something confronting it. It's going to like get up and kind of like start getting more of aggressive stance. Because you are charging at it, I want you to roll for intimidation. But
Okay.
roll with your strength modifier instead of your charisma.
Oh, okay, okay. I get what you're doing.
So if it's
So
if
intimidation,
you're
8,
proficient with it,
and that
add your
would
proficiency bonus.
plus
and then add
strength modifier. All right, so
Yeah,
that would
instead of-
be 11.
11. Okay. Let's see. Maybe low. Yeah. So you book it at this poor dog who's just trying to get a meal, and immediately after the daunting roar, and then immediately after you just keep charging at it, just scampers off and is still watching you, but is keeping a very wide distance at this point.
Okay, so is the deer carcass now free of doggos?
It's free of doggos, but it is a little torn into at this point. About like a third of it is just gone. It's been eaten and dragged apart. But for the most part, there is now a partially mangled deer carcass.
Okay, I'm gonna pick it up once again, kind of like half turn and growl at the remaining ones,
All right,
and
they
just
kinda
walk
scamper away.
walk back, hulkingly and very pissed off, back towards camp.
All right. So everyone is awake at this point. There is still about an hour left to get a full long rest at this point. So the rest of you, except for the Sengen and Lilith, who were keeping watch, can
Oh, I'm
bed
staying up.
down.
I'm staying up this time.
Staying up.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm protecting my food this time.
Okay. That being the case, you wouldn't get a full long rest here.
Okay.
So you would get a point of exhaustion.
Okay.
So I believe the first point is disadvantage on ability checks, I believe.
I think so.
So after 24 hours, you would get that. So
Is it ability checks or saving throws?
I think it's ability
Oh.
checks. I'm pretty sure it's ability checks. They don't have the rules in front of you right away.
I thought that was 2 points of exhaustion. Yeah, whatever. You're the DM.
Hold on,
Yeah.
I'm
My inner
looking it
DM
up.
is
Hold
kicking
on.
in.
Dude, I told you, we have three DMs here. I'm perfectly fine with us button heads a tiny bit.
Oh,
Uh,
they do have exhaustion on the conditions.
Yeah,
D&D
it's just ability checks.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I think it's like half speed and ability checks.
It's
half speed is
speed has
two,
2, and then
something?
3
Right.
is attack rolls and saving throws.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've DM'd normal 5e. Anyways. So when everyone starts waking up, Tethys, you are a little more exhausted than everyone else because you didn't get your full rest. You're woken up pretty abruptly in the middle of the night to protect your kill. But for the most part, everyone got a very restful sleep here in a very peaceful area comparative to everywhere else. And with the sun cresting over the horizon, you are able to wake up and make camp and prepare the slightly mangled deer carcass for the morning and for breakfast.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Towards the end of my watch, I'm going to start making breakfast a little earlier.
All right.
It'll be either halfway or done.
Okay. Are you going to be using supplies like the dry foods, or are you going to be using directly from Tethys' kill the night before?
Preferably the kill.
Okay.
If he's fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna explain that
Very
that's why I went and hunted it.
Yeah. So that being the case, a lot of what would have been a very piecemeal breakfast of dried meats and hardtack, harder breads and slightly leathery water turns into a much more refined, if you want to call it that, meal of very hearty venison and a handful of berries for Rain.
Yep.
Handful of underripened
Even though there's
berries.
bread available, I still go for the berries.
If you do want to look at,
fall up on the tree.
you do kind of take a look at the bread, and it's not bread in this for the sake of like a nice loaf of bread. It's a lot of like hardtack.
Yeah.
So you take two of them, you kind of like clink them together, and it's like a very solid like. As they are like
almost sounds like wood.
Exactly, they are solid pieces of like essentially hardtack is like flour, water, salt, and then cooked for like 7 hours kind of thing. It is a solid piece of bread, but with enough water, you can wash everything down, and it's edible. It's not quite as filling as you would like, but it's edible.
I'm utterly thrilled by this invention called hardtack. I am taken aback.
It's old bread, but it's not moldy. What?
No, it's not moldy, but it's got some bite to it. Like I got work for it.
God,
I got earn my meal.
Monks.
Easy tag, damn it.
Easy tag.
Yeah, you guys eat your morning brekkie, and everything is very relaxed this morning. Stengen is. You guys notice as he kind of like prepares everything in the morning, is eating his breakfast, is staying like on the opposite end of the fire as Lilith. Like no matter what he's doing, he's just kind of keeping as much space as possible between him and Lilith because of the previous night's altercations. But after about an hour or so of packing up camp, getting everything ready to go, you guys are ready to get everything rolling again for your second day travel. So is there anything anyone wants to do before we get going for the second day?
I'm actually gonna. What were you saying? Sorry.
No, you go first.
Oh, the joys of online.
I was gonna grill short stack a little bit.
Okay.
While she's doing that, I'm gonna make sure the fire's kicked out and all the trees are buried and stuff like that.
While everyone's getting ready and packed up, I am meditating. I am I'm not trying to inconvenience anyone. I usual thing.
All right. But yeah, Rain, you can find a pretty peaceful spot, especially here this early in the morning. You're kind of filled with just the sounds of nature, even though this is a fairly tense area for you. With everything kind of the noise happening around you, you're able to kind of meld into this Zen state and find your relaxation there. Taryn, as you're kind of going through, making sure everything's put away and set up, you find that there are several essentially camping misconducts happening with people who, didn't properly bury certain excrements, and it's just kind of bit of a
I just
hodgepodge.
up shit in the woods. There was no hole to be had.
And that's why I'm doing it.
So Taryn just kind of going through doing the grunt dirty work, just like taking a small shovel and just digging small holes and just like burying what he can bury, making sure everything is just like essentially the kind of leave a place better than you found it kind of situation, making sure that everything is as orderly as possible as to not cause any trouble in the future.
Boy
Yeah.
Scout.
Lilith, did you have something you wanted to do?
How do my tattoos look? You're gonna get this every morning. I'm so sorry.
I know it's gonna be great. You notice that your tattoos on one arm is very like much normal, and then on your right arm they're kind of shifting and melding, and then on your forearm on the top end you see that there is a small arrow that starts to form, and then the arrow kind of shifts over, and then across it there's an axe that forms, and then kind of shifts back into its normal undulating patterns.
As I come back, I'm going to stand up on the back of one of the wagons and chastise everyone. Guys, there are rules. You need to bury your shit. And I'll see Piece's face and be like, look, dig a hole, shit in the hole, cover the hole, we're all good.
And at
Why?
this,
I've seen people not get buried, and they were pieces of shit.
This isn't the city anymore. You'll destroy the environment.
The environment tried to take our breakfasts.
Yeah.
Fuck
I'm
the
gonna.
You
environment.
know why? Because we didn't actually cover anything.
but at this point, after being a little bit chastised, you see Sengen coming back from like the wooded area, just kind of like tying up his trousers a bit. Just kind of sets it off. Oh, all right. Well, there's one more pile back there for you if you want to cover that one too. And then it's just like starts jaunting up to the first carriage again.
I'm literally gonna draw an arrow on this guy. Quick whip out my bow and I draw an arrow on him.
He just like flattens to the ground. It's just like laying flat on the ground now. He's like, please, no, 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 no. And just getting like as flat to the ground as possible.
I'll loosen up and put everything back and be like, come here.
He like begrudgingly follows you.
And I make him take care of it.
And he takes the shovel from you and digs like
Yeah,
as small of a hole as he can and shovels it in there and makes sure everything's set up to your specifications. Anything else anyone wants to do?
I'm just grilling Sengen, and I'm at some point,
Poor
even if it's on
bastard.
the trail, I was gonna be like, I'm gonna start questioning him. So whenever you want to do that,
Whatever. He comes back with Taryn. His eyes are just like downcast the whole time. His face is just like flush red. He is thoroughly, I don't say embarrassed so much, as just like downtrodden at this point. You guys have been, he's been poked with an axe. He has had a bow pointed at him, and he's been carried through the city like a sack of potatoes. This guy is, you can see on his face, he's not regretting his decision to hire you. Like, he's very much in that, like, just 1 or 2 more days. Just 1 or 2 more days. We're almost there.
I'm just gonna say city
pat him on the
kid.
shoulder. I don't get it either.
And I'm gonna go back to cleaning my Minotaur horn bow.
So while we're waiting to kind of like get everything back set and ready to roll, I'm gonna kind of go off to like into the grass somewhere and get down on one knee facing away from the sun and clasp the little violet that's in my hand around my neck.
Yep.
And just gonna say a small prayer in Leonin.
Yeah, it's easy enough to do. Once you kind of find an area, small little clearing set aside from the main clearing, kind of drop down, kind of hold it, just relax and rest, and say a very small prayer to whoever or whatever you want to say it to.
Okay.
Anything else before we take off? Do you want to grill the poor guy anymore, or is he free to start making his way again?
I'm just happen. So I'm gonna like, I'm just gonna say I would like buddy up with him on the road. So what happened? Who did you used to be before your great fall from grace?
Well, I wouldn't call it a great fall from grace, but and he kind of like looks down at his clothes and it's like these were much nicer about 2 months ago. I used to be a fairly prominent trader between Riverbrook and Millgrove. There's a barge system that we can make our way to and from, and going to a capital city to get more expensive goods are usually a really good way to make money. But also the reason I made more money than most people is because I never, and he kind of like looks down as he's getting the horse prepped. I never hired protection in any way, and now I learned that lesson, and I'm alive, thankfully. But I have literally a small chest of gold to pay for any goods, and I just so happen to have some left over for a bit of protection this time, as I made sure to do. And then I had to buy these carts, and I don't have much left anymore because of that. And he is kind of like, at this point, you can see his face is getting much more into the, like, on the verge of tears kind of thing, as he's thinking back to his previously successful business and now into being lowered to hiring 5 misfits from the capital city to help protect his very modest 2 carriages to and from.
I'm gonna like clap him on the shoulder again. Sometimes you have to go through things to realize what you have, or they're gone.
As you say that, he just kind of, his entire posture from like prepping everything, getting the horse tied up, kind of lowers a bit, and then immediately just like leans back on you, and is just like, you start feeling his body like shake and shudder a little bit as he starts welling up, and not like sobbing, but is definitely getting teared up over someone actually showing sympathy after the long day that he had of people giving him so much shit. But with that, everything is prepped for the morning's travel. You guys doing the same setup as you did for the previous day?
No.
But I'm on the outside, like I'm actually walking today.
Okay, then I'm actually taking his spot to try to rest up a little bit more.
Okay.
I'll walk with Taryn
All right.
since Peace is up
Tethys.
front.
Tethys, you're going to be sleeping in the back, or are you going to be just...
I'm gonna be trying to sleep, yeah.
Okay. That being the case, I'll say that with this small stint, you're able to finish your long rest from the night before.
Okay.
So don't worry about the point of exhaustion.
Right.
Just because there wasn't an extended period of time between when you woke up, and it was only like an hour and a half of rest. I'll say that with this area, you're able to get a decent rest in there comparatively, and
Okay.
you can finish your long night's rest at that point.
Sounds good.
All right. So who's walking now? So Rain, Taryn's still driving the
Yep.
carriage, right?
I'm driving the
Alright.
cart in the back.
All right. That being the case, need you to make another animal handling check for me.
Yep. 19.
19. Oh yeah. After the first day, you immediately just kind of sink into it, like, yeah, I know how this horse reacts to me now, and you're able to easily steer it. Honestly, you're doing a better job at guiding this horse than poor Sengen is. You can tell Sengen he's used to driving a carriage, but you can tell by the way he moves, he's used to driving much more cooperative beasts than what he currently has to deal with here. Like he's managing, but every once in a while the horse kind of tosses its mane around. He kind of just like tenses up and freaks out a little bit. But otherwise, you guys make your way through. I assume it's going to be Lilith and Peace again for the perception checks here.
I think I'm gonna walk near the front this time, just so I can
Okay.
keep a good, healthy amount of distance between me and that horse.
Okay.
Like literally every time that horse looks
Right.
at me, I'm like,
Every once in a while, you turn and do that, and the horse kind of like slows down, like skips a step almost as it makes its way. Yeah, 2 people make perception checks to keep watch on the way here.
25.
25.
Oh, man.
All right.
22.
Jesus Christ. All right. so yeah, you guys, for the morning at least, up until like midday, it's a very uneventful. You see several smaller travelers as you're getting farther away from the capital. You notice a lot of the travel is less with large carriages and large caravans and much more smaller foot traffic. It is very sparse, and it's usually like a small family with like a hand cart between two like smaller villages. Like villages so small they wouldn't appear on like a larger map kind of thing. Like very small, no paved roads, very very humble compared to the stone paved path that you are currently driving. But at a certain point, you start hearing a strange sound. Both of you start hearing just like thunk, 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 and then you start hearing groaning, like almost this, like a wood is being like twisted and bent, and you start hearing like there's a couple areas in the trees where the trees are kind of being a little bit having a little more movement than the current wind would be suggesting.
I'm gonna yell out in Elvish. Who goes there?
I will get
No.
my attention and
No
I'll
response.
look.
I'm gonna like warn everybody and I'll be like,
I immediately perk up and grab my quarterstaff.
All right. So as everyone's kind of getting ready, are you still moving the
Yes.
caravan
Yeah.
forward, or are you guys stopped and surveying?
See, that's the thing. We're still moving forward.
Yes. As of right now, you're still moving. Do you guys want to
Yeah.
stop it, or do you want to keep moving and just like ready as you're moving forward, or do you want to stop and like set up in a perimeter?
I will stop.
Okay.
I'm not sure about Senkin since he's leading, but I
Yeah.
will stop.
As you start slowing down, Senkin kind of looks back and starts slowing his horse down as well.
Okay. Yeah. I come to a stop, say a few calming words to the horses, and draw my bow.
All right. So as you guys are slowing down and stopping, you still hear Lilith and Peace. You still hear this just thunk, thunk, and eventually there's like screeching sound as you see maybe 50, 60 yards in front of you. One of the trees starts falling and collapses full on top of the road and is completely barring the path forward at this point. And with both rolls being over 20 at this point, you do kind of look over in the direction where this tree fell, and you see there are two people. One of them is much shorter and stouter. You can, especially with a fucking 20, 25 or whatever it was, you can see and identify that this person is more like than not dwarven, and there's another human figure standing next to him. And as you're kind of surveying the area around, you see that they are both pretty well equipped. Like, these aren't just foresters. There's probably some shenaniganery going on here.
oh yeah.
Would this
Lilith, I think we have an ambush if I am not mistaken.
I agree. Think we should go talk with weapons drawn.
I talk it all.
Well, at least like to know the evil backstory.
I'm just gonna stay back with the carts. I'm gonna take a look around now that I know that they're there and look for any other people in the woods around us.
Okay. Make another perception check for me.
Oh, thank God! I was gonna be like, if it's investigation, you can just. I just won't do it.
I was gonna say investigation, but you're still getting like a broad view. You're not focusing in on one area, so it's kind of hit or miss. I go with perception at this point, though.
22.
22. Okay, as you're looking around, you notice, like, forward to the right, there are those two people that just cut down this tree. But deeper in, up to the left, in one of the trees, you see there's a figure. You can't quite tell what it is, per se. If it's humanoid, if it's beast, like exactly what the specification of it would be. But there is definitely something in that tree, and it seems to have either a crossbow, a bow, or some kind of ranged weapon across its lap.
I'm just gonna wave to one, tell him that I see him, and for the rest of my party to kind of see what I'm looking at. I'm just gonna wave. And I'm gonna follow
Are you-
Lilith.
Are you waving at the one in the tree or the two?
Yeah, the one in the
one in the
tree.
tree? Okay. At that, you see just like a hand kind of raise and just, and then
What's
back
the
down.
range? What's the range of the one in the tree?
how far away is it? You mean?
Yeah, how far away is he?
At this point, I'd
feet.
say about maybe 80 feet, 90 feet away.
Okay.
Well, actually, hold on. That would be. At this point, he would be about 150 feet away, actually, because you guys aren't quite up to the where the tree fell yet.
Right. Okay.
So would the tree falling down have woken me up at that point?
Oh yeah, this was not
Okay.
a quiet sound. Plus, with the commotion happening between Peace and Lilith here, that sound it wasn't quite heavy enough to shake the ground exactly, but there was definitely like
Okay.
a feeling in the cart of something impacting
Okay,
and
so
just
then
feeling something jolt you.
yeah, then I am very angrily waking up as my sleep has been interrupted.
Lilith is gonna start walking towards them. Are their weapons drawn, or do they have everything sheathed?
As you start making your way up, you see one of them, the larger figure, or I guess the stockier figure, the proposed dwarven figure, is walking out with a double-bitted axe just slung over his shoulder, and starts walking over to some of the branches and starts like hacking away some of the branches off of this large log.
Okay.
Almost like he's trying to like prune it.
She's gonna put her shield on her arm and pull out her hand axe, but just fine position, not ready to fight.
Okay.
Just walk up and
As you grab your shield to kind of like strap it on, you notice the tattoos along your forearm kind of start like melding in back into that like arrow and axe, kind of crossing each other, then melding back in, and everything kind of just starts morphing back together into a much more runic pattern.
yeah, definitely wary.
I'm gonna lean over and go, "Is that ringworm?"
Something like that.
That don't look right. Intelligence of 8.
She's gonna keep walking forward till she's within earshot of them. Hello.
And kind of turns. Oh, hello there. I'm sorry. It seems like a bit of an inconvenience at this point. I'll get this out of your way here in a minute if you don't mind scooching in and giving us a little bit of help here. I see you got a little fancy bit there on your side.
Sure.
He kind of like
what do
points
you
towards
need
your
help
hand
with?
axe.
Does he wait? He points at it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you
Just
said he was
kind of
reaching
like
for it. I was like,
no. He has his axe on his shoulder. He's like, you have an axe. Help me.
yeah, sure.
Help me prune this tree.
With my little hatchet. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Sure. I'll
Like a
I'll start helping him.
redwood.
Yeah.
All right. As you get close, he starts hacking. And what was that?
I'm
No, I
gonna
see.
I don't have an axe. I have a mace. I'm just gonna kind of pull it off my belt and go. As in this is not an axe. This is not a cutting weapon.
This is not a bludgeoning situation here. So are both of you walking up to this tree now?
I am at least.
Yeah.
I'm hanging back a little bit. I'm just
Okay.
kind of like keeping an eye out and letting them know that too.
Okay.
I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I don't have an axe or a tree cutting weapon.
All
I'll
right.
just let you know.
So you back up a ways and you're kind of like keeping an overview of the situation, kind of like looking around up to the guy in the tree and kind of looking around the area. And then out of nowhere, this dwarven figure, once Lilith gets close, spins on a dime and goes and tries wrapping around him and trying to like grapple you. Needs you to make either athletics or strength saving throw for me, Lilith. So athletics it would be.
Nat 20.
All right. So he
Nice.
immediately starts wrapping around, starts grabbing you, and you just him being like at this point maybe like up to your like chest, you just kind of like easily score and push him aside, and just like get back into like a defensive position again. And he goes and like steps back, kind of leans against the tree now, and just kind of props his axe against his shoulder. Well, that was unexpected. Surprised you were able to get out of it that easy.
You're the unexpected one.
Well, let's just say we have a certain business we need to get done here. And since we don't have collateral anymore, I suppose we should just have this conversation face to face. It's gonna be a charge to get past here. We'll get this out of your way lickety split if you give us a little bit of time and a little bit of gold.
Looks like you have an axe. We could just take that from you.
Oh, you're gonna take my axe from me, you say?
Could, yes.
And how would you do that?
Well, where do you want to go down? However you want this to go down.
Oh.
So,
At this point, in their conversation, I have gotten off the cart and am kind of like half storming over there to kind of figure out what's going on.
all right. Yeah, as you're walking up, he immediately like takes a little bit more of a defensive stance, and the taller figure next to him, as you kind of get closer, you see more facial features. You notice is an elven figure who has a short sword and a dagger on either hip, and is just kind of backing behind the dwarven figure. Is just kind of keeping like a careful watch over what's happening here. And Peace, you would notice the person in the tree is now kind of shifting a bit and is getting more into like a readied stance at this altercation.
Can I do something?
Yeah, what's up?
I want to use thaumaturgy, and so you can use it to create ominous whispers near them or like boost your voice.
Yeah.
Can I like ventriloquist go boo right in his ear?
Make a performance check.
Oh shit. Oh, how bad is that? 15.
That's not bad. So you use thaumaturgy and you kind of like do the small hand motions you do. The user's like, "Ooh," and you. Which person are you doing this to? The
I want
dwarf
to
or
do
the
it to
elf?
the guy in the tree to see if I
Guy
can
in the
startle
tree.
him bad enough to fall out.
Okay. So, what's the range on thaumaturgy?
Oh fuck! I want to say it's 100 feet. 30 feet. Fuck.
30 feet. Yeah, you're not within range at that point.
Oh
If you
shit. Never mind.
want,
Disregard.
if you want, I can say you can walk to get close enough to do it. But I'm gonna have you roll stealth to get there. If you want to do it, roll for stealth to get close enough to him.
No, that's gonna suck ass.
She just
Actually,
turns
you
and walks
know
into the
what?
woods.
So I've been like casually leaning up against a tree. I want to kind of like sneak away and just kind of try and get under him. So yeah, I will do that actually.
All right.
Stealth? Fuck. Okay. 22.
22.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you are very
17
confident.
plus
Damn, you are very
our
confident.
rolls tonight.
You guys are fucking crazy today. Except for like the one bad roll from Lilith. Like one bad perception check. Everything else has been like
Sorry, I'm a
15 or
hardened
above.
criminal.
So you easily just kind of like slink back and make your way around. And at this point, you can use thaumaturgy. You are right beneath them. I'm gonna keep that. I'll keep that 15 performance check, but you just kind of go, "Boom," and you see him go, and he falls back, and you see him just kind of slip off the branch, just boom, right on the ground next to you. And he would be.
Do I see this happening?
Racking up.
You hear this just like as he just like smacks on the ground and is just like flattened and just like groaning on the ground now.
Okay. So the boo was quiet enough to where I wouldn't hear it.
Yeah, it was. Unless you want to make it like a booming boo, I was thinking more along
Make it a booming boo, like
right.
right.
A booming boo.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, you all hear this just boom as he just like falls out of the tree.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of like tilt my head a little bit, try to figure out what was going on, and then realize that she had like done like I had seen her like kind of like move like her hands and whatnot for that, and then I'm just gonna kind of like
I'm pretty lenient, so I want to kind of think that my hand gestures were me just going
You know, there's like a couple like strange like gestures kind of and just like fuck you. And he just boos.
Concentration looks like this.
Okay.
And he falls out of the tree, and with that, he does take 5 points of bludgeoning damage from falling.
I do want to
And-
lean over him and go, it would be a shame if you made another mistake like that.
He just kind of looks up at you and just groans. And just kind of starts like getting up onto his feet. And
I want to
keeps-
put my foot on his dick and keep him in place.
All right. Make
Just
Make
like
it-
threatening.
make an intimidation check using your strength modifier or charisma. I'll leave that up to you.
Oh, strength modifier
Or
or
charisma.
charisma. Oh, I'm gonna do charisma. I'm just gonna do my most batshit like smile, like I've killed people and you might be next kind of look. The one I've perfected to scare people in
Yeah.
my completely legitimate and legal past.
Wanna know
Hmm.
how I got these scars?
We live in a society.
6.
6?
Oh.
Yeah, so you kind of like get your grimace going, you kind of like put your foot over his junk, and you think you're doing this great face, but then he just kind of looks up and he's like, "Do you have to shit or something?"
I'm just gonna stomp at that.
Oh, you just stomp right on his nuts. He just, oh, it just kind of rolls, like goes into the fetal position and just kind of like rolls onto his side.
I let him roll like the little fish he is.
Yeah. So this guy is now in a decent amount of pain, lying on the ground or being scared out of a tree and had his dick kicked in. And at that, the dwarf just kind of like puts his head in his hand. It's like, oh, that dumbass. Oh my god. All right, listen here. Obviously, you guys are proficient at something here. You scared the fuck out of that guy, and now we're sitting here with our dicks in our hands, not knowing what the fuck to do. So, that being the case, well, let's just say you give us 50 gold pieces and we'll get out of your hair.
Give us the axe and leave.
I'm at this point. I've like made it over, and I'm like looking this guy like dead ass in the face. Just, I still have blood on my maw, by the way. I have not cleaned that off.
It's dried at this point. It's just kind of like caked.
Yeah, but I'm still just like very obviously like trying to hold back from just straight up strangling this guy because I've put together that it's like, all right, these motherfuckers knocked this tree down.
Yeah.
I was trying to
Either-
sleep, and would I be able to pick him up? He's a dwarf, so he's probably wearing heavier armor. So I don't.
roll a
Yeah, I was gonna say a little stereotypical of you.
so why can't I, there we go. Athletics. Full athletics check.
All right.
Or saving throw. Same thing at this point.
Okay. Well, I just rolled athletics 22.
22. All right. So yeah, you go to like grab him by the scruff and pick him up, and he just knocks your hand right on the inside of the elbows, and it wasn't very polite to you, and just kind of draws his axe, kind of like lays it on the ground. Lilith, since this did fail, you're gonna roll intimidation check without advantage, just a straight roll at this point for him dropping the axe and leaving, because he just saw his buddy get knocked out of a tree, get his dick stomped in, and now you're threatening the poor boy.
16.
16.
Pretty good roll.
He kind of staggers back a little bit and just goes, kind of like drops the axe in front of him in both of his hands. He goes, "Well, I'm not giving you my axe, but we'll get out of your way." And he takes his axe and starts like hurriedly chopping the tree, and they start like pushing it out of the way. Are you guys doing anything more to these poor guys? Or
Yes, I am cross-armed, glaring down at him, and just. I was trying to sleep.
I'm at the carts, just cross-armed now, right now.
Yeah, I'm
Just
still at
waiting
the
for this
front
all
of
to be done.
my cart. Arrow knocked.
He kind of like looks up at the Leonin who's trying to be a badass after getting essentially a failed grapple on him. He's like, "Listen, I'm not scared of you anymore. I know you can't hold your shit." That one, on the other hand, points directly at Lilith. It's like, Not gonna lie, she scares me shitless.
Can I try to
Just
pick him up
starts-
again?
You can try. Roll with disadvantage though, because he knows it's coming.
All right. Athletics again. All right. It's a 22 again, and a 10.
And yeah, you start moving forward to try to grab him, and he just kind of like holds his hand out and just like puts it directly on your chest, and then takes the butt of his axe and just slams it into your gut.
Okay.
And it's not
would-
enough to
would
deal
that-
damage, but it's
would that be an-
definitely it hit, and it's just kind of that like the wind's taken out of you for a second.
Okay. I'm just
But
gonna like take one step back for that, and then regain my footing, kind of just recross my arms and just glare at him.
And with that, he just kind of looks up at you like, "Told you, I'm not scared of you. I know you're a little bitch when it comes to these other ones," and starts pushing the tree again. And eventually, if none of you interfere, they move the tree out of the way and just kind of like stand dejected on the side of the road, waiting for you guys to pass.
As a passing note, the guy who's like writhing around on the ground, I'm gonna use thaumaturgy to come from his dick and make it go, help me, please.
Roll another performance check for this. Let's see.
It does not have to be good. It's
No,
fine.
but this one doesn't have to be good. This one's just if he believes you. They're more of like if he
Natural 20.
He fully buys it.
he's on the ground. He goes, "Help! Help!" And he just kind of like goes up against the tree. He's like, "Oh god, oh god, oh no!" And just kind of like shrinks up against the tree and is just like starts quickly undoing his pants and is just like looking down. It's making sure everything's still in like working condition, kind of thing.
Why was I born so small?
His face just gets beat red as he just like fully embarrassed and dejected, just like holds against the tree and is just like,
baby corns.
"Oh god," and is now just like huddled against this tree. And you see his body starts like shaking a little bit as he like softly starts sobbing.
Oh my god.
But yeah, if you guys want to continue on your way, you guys can easily make your way past.
As we're walking back to the cart, I'm gonna like pull Peace aside and be like, "Do you think you could enhance my roar?"
Yes.
Let me look at
I'm
this
just gonna get this huge, like the biggest toothy grin anyone has ever seen, and just kind of get like a little more like pip in my step as I'm walking back.
All right. So you guys spur up the horses again in the carriages and completely avoid an encounter.
As
Aren't you
as we
happy?
move out, I would like to cast Mage Hand and
Okay.
backhand the dwarf with the axe. Just straight up
Alright.
backhand that bitch and just be like, "What do you think you're?"
All right. He just like gets smacked by this spectral hand, just kind of like, okay, all right, and just
You
kind of
go
like,
home and rethink your life.
and just kind of moves out of the way and kind of gathers his friends and his compatriots together and just kind of like essentially regroup after the verbal and slightly physical ass kicking that they just got dealt to them by these random
Yeah,
travelers.
Carol,
their assumed advantage that they had over you initially immediately got destroyed when one got scared out of a tree, the grapple failed, and then got just absolutely destroyed. But you guys easily make your way out of the situation and peacefully continue down your path. I see this is the way the group's gonna be, and I fucking dig it.
I didn't even have to shoot anyone.
I
In
say this is-
I
consolation,
literally
I'm
did
like,
nothing.
I respect the hustle.
and
Just
I
don't
would
fuck
love
with
for Rain to be like, "I found a rock."
Yeah, I was like combing rocks this whole time.
Guys, you will not believe this dope ass pine cone I found.
Guys, it's deciduous forest.
Yeah. Holy shit. All right. Yeah, with that, the rest of your travel for the second day comes uneventfully. With that small pit stop there, you did lose a little bit of time in your travel. especially having to respur and regroup your horse and everything. So at this point, you're still about maybe 3 or 4 hours away from the city of Riverbrook itself. You can either continue on your way through the night, or you can make camp here and arrive in the morning. So if you'd like to keep going, you'll arrive in Riverbrook around midnight, maybe 1 a.m. Or you can make camp here and arrive there about noon or so. I'll leave that up to you.
I'm going to vote we trek through the night.
I vote track through the night.
I'm good checking through.
All right, well, that's 3 out of 5. Fuck the clerics.
We
Unless
don't
you
care
guys-
what you think.
Talk to you all night, goddammit.
No, they can persuade me if they have a good enough argument.
I was going to say, unless you two have an argument against it.
It's just preference.
Yeah.
All right, anything from Peace? Or are you good at checking through the night?
Down the clown.
All right. So you guys make your way as you're going through. I need 2 people. Half elves have dark vision, right?
Oh, fuck,
believe-
do I?
I'm
Yes.
pretty sure they have 60-foot dark vision, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. So
Yeah.
that being the case, I need you two to make perception checks. Normal roll, not disadvantage, because dark vision.
I also have dark vision.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everyone except for the half.
I was say, I think I'm the only one who doesn't actually.
Yeah, because I think Genasi have dark vision. I think.
I'm checking that right now.
18.
18.
Dirty 20.
All right. So
I do
You
not have
guys-
dark vision. Just
Hey.
FYI.
good, I can fuck 2 people over in dark caverns, but not the rest of them. But yeah, you guys make the rest of the way pretty uneventfully at this point. You do, with the dirty 20, you do get the feeling that towards the hour and a half, 2 hour mark, once it gets almost pitch black, you do get the feeling you're being followed. And as you kind of glance behind you, you see the 3 figures off to the side, kind of like keeping a close watch on you and kind of making their way off to the side. They don't, by their movements, they don't seem aggressive right now, but they are definitely keeping a close eye on you guys as you're walking through here. You doing anything?
I'm gonna notify the party of this, and just essentially say, I don't think we need to do anything right now, but make sure to lock your doors tight.
I'm
When
just
you-
gonna kind
when
of
you get
wave
in the
again to let them know I see them and then go,
As you do that, the one that fell out of the tree, the taller figure, you see me to like skips a step and just kind of like takes a little bit more of a defensive walking stance as he goes. But for the rest of the travel, after they have been noticed and notified of them being noticed, they don't molest you anymore on this travel. What's up, Rain?
So I have 3 torches.
Okay.
So I will light one of those.
All right. Yeah. You at
to
this
light
point,
the way.
you have your own little ball of light through this area, and you're able to see pretty clearly for I think it's 20 or 30 feet with the torch. But
Yes.
But yeah, you can pretty uneventfully, after the altercation you had previously with these people, and after giving them a little bit of a dirty look, can make your way through this area. And as you're, I forgot to mention this, as you're making your way through past where the tree fell, the topography of the area kind of turns more into a more hilled area. A lot of the trees have kind of dispersed and they're a lot thinner now. They're still there, but this area seems a lot more of like an uplands kind of area. It's a lot of hills, a lot of almost like terrace something kind of thing. There are certain areas that are like gouged into the hills to flatten the area to have an area for viable farmland closer to Riverbrook. But as you're making your way into Riverbrook, it's almost a ghost town at this point because of how late it is. But you can pretty easily find your way to what seems to be a tavern or an inn. And you can lodge, camp outside, whatever you guys want to do.
I think I'm gonna do what I did at the Dragon's End and just go into the tavern, ask for a room, hand over a gold piece, and ask for a cup of ale too, or like a
Okay.
big old pint.
All right. How are the rooms being split up? You guys doing individual rooms again this time, or are you doubling up, tripling up, or just
Doesn't-
getting one big ass room?
Doesn't matter to
One
me.
big room. I vote one big room.
I have no money. Help. All right. So
Yeah, I'm good with that.
how are we splitting it?
I'll join the big room.
All right. So we have 2 people in one room
Yeah.
for now.
Right? Am I just putting my gold piece towards that one big room then?
Everyone's fine with that, I guess.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So yeah,
All right.
you walk up to the proprietor and just slide a gold piece across, who immediately just kind of looks at you. You notify him that you want a room, and he slides the gold, hands you a key, slides a mug of ale across, and then looks at you. Got our monthly sort here. What exactly? What are you doing here? We don't get many travelers here that are quite as big. Like, obviously noting that you are bulky as Leonin in the middle of essentially a very humanoid-esque area.
Just passing through on business.
I won't cry. Is there anything else I can get for you?
A cup of water.
All right. And he looks at the rest of you.
I take that as well.
I just hit my water skin, refill this.
And he takes it from you and kind of like latches it onto his belt.
I'll just take a drink of whatever you think doesn't taste like shit.
And he kind of like looks up a little bit, like thinking, I can manage that. And then he scoots off into the back, and he's gone for about 5 minutes or so. But he comes back with a large clay pitcher full of water, as well as 5 clay cups, and a small platter of just dried bread. Just not hardtack, but not fresh bread. It's just probably stuff that was made this morning, but was just kind of left out just to kind of harden a little bit, like left on top of the stove.
Fine, I'll take it.
It's essentially like slightly hardened toast kind of thing.
I do not take any because I had my one meal this morning.
But you do accept it.
I accept it by pocket it. I take like a little bite so it's more courteous. Not
Yeah,
trying to rock the boat.
Yeah, you guys settle down here. You have your water skins refilled. You have water laid out for you, and a small, basic, almost like very utilitarian meal, almost like, you know, the free bread you get at a lot of restaurants kind of thing. And at a certain point, as you guys are sitting around the table, he walks up again. Is there any meal decisions you want before you go take your night, or is there anything I can do for you? I know it's a bit early, you know, you look at it, but is there anything I can do for you?
I'm going to request just plate of ham.
He's like, well, there will be a little bit more on top of that gold piece. Just going to be another 2 silver pieces if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll slide them on over.
All right, you take it from me. Anything for anyone else?
Do you have any jerky? Jerky?
Any
Jerky?
any jerky? Jerky or turkey?
Jerky.
All right.
Are you saying Cherokee?
Cherokees.
Weird.
And
In this world, that's totally made up. But
and he kind of shuffles off and then comes back with a larger plate of ham, slides that in front of us, and a like not about like softball size, sort of, you know, like hide pouch. So I think this is what you're asking for, and he hands you a pack full of dried meats.
Oh, okay, cool. I was like, no.
awesome, they got it.
It's like that would just be one silver piece from you if you don't mind. And
Enjoy it.
then for you, lady, and slides a strange concoction in front of Peace, like a very, very colorful but almost like swirling liquid has been placed in front of you. It's the special. It's a fun drink, to say the least. It doesn't taste like shit.
Well, like this. I'm gonna go.
You dip your tongue in, and immediately your tongue gets like a hard hit of alcohol. Like it's immediately starts burning your tongue as it makes contact.
I like you.
You just slam it.
Oh yeah.
You slam it, and his eyes just go wide, like, oh shit. Make a Constitution saving throw for this.
I embrace death.
While she's doing that, I'm just gonna straight up just chug down my pint too, and then just slide the mug back over. And just kind of,
Accepts it.
there you go. I'm good.
Accepts it.
Touche.
One more. And he
I
puts it
am
aside
going-
and starts washing it.
I'm going upstairs, curling up in a ball.
All right.
Too much adventure for one day.
Terran makes his way up to the room, unlocks the door, and just like falls on one of the 3 beds in there, and just kind of like rolls up into like a little blanket burrito. Peace, what was your roll?
Natural 1 for a grand total of 3.
You take this, you slam it back, and as soon as you get like one gulp in before and just spit it all out onto the table. And it's tasty. It is very fruit forward, almost like this raspberry kind of like melody going on. And it's like taking like a good like 3 shots of tequila all at the same time, where it just kind of hits you and just stays with you. But
I am undeterred. I wipe my nose and I go for it again.
and you, at that point, knowing what to expect, you're easily able to down the rest of it. But that initial shock definitely did not feel good. But it's a tasty drink. It is strong as shit, but it is a good drink.
That felt like a fireball. You should call it that.
All right. And he goes back and it's like, I've been thinking about adding an addition. We just try this, and you see him like takes like scrapes some stuff on the top of it. This like light brown powder and slides it across a much smaller thing.
Margarita rim with like the spice on it.
More or less, it's not. There's like a little bit of powder coating the rim, but it's mostly just like this like powder covering the top where it kind of froths a little bit. And
Now that the first one's down the hatch, I'm gonna like sip and savor, and I'm gonna be like,
you sip it, and with that little powder on there, there's like a good cinnamon kick, and a little bit more of like a nutmeg and a cinnamon. And he kind of like walks back as he sees you enjoying it, just like says to himself like fireball, and just kind of shuffles
I'm gonna
behind
have
the
to
bar.
go shopping tomorrow.
I made fireball canon.
It's like fireball is now canon. Congrats.
Nice.
They're thinking it's like they're like drawing things so they come with the logo.
Exactly.
Is it like apple cinnamon? Because that legit sounds so good, like fireball, but with like apple in it.
No,
Oh my
it
I
is.
think that's
Well,
already a thing.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say if you take hard cider and fireball.
Yeah.
No, but he
That's
does.
so bad. Oh my god.
He takes it into account. The rest of the night is yours. If you guys want to chat a little bit more, or do you want to head straight up to your room?
I'm gonna like hold the plate kind of like server style in my hand, and then just kind of like point at it, and then just be like, "Do you mind?"
Do you want more?
No, Are you okay with me taking this up?
Oh yeah, yes. That's not a problem at all. Not a problem.
All right.
I don't know where the fuck the accent went, but you know what? Fuck it. Anything anyone else wants to do, or are you all gonna bed down for the night?
Nope, I'm taking my platter
am
ham
bunking up
upstairs.
for the night. After
Alright.
enjoying my cool, tall glass of water.
It's very refreshing, like this late at night with the air being a little bit chillier as it is. The water that's in the well is actually pretty cold. It's not like
it's like the middle of the night water.
exactly. It's that like your throat's parched, you got up having to pee, you wake up, you pour it out, you drink it. It's like, oh, this is like better than sex.
Yep.
And it's the most refreshing water you've had in the past 20 minutes. But yeah, you all bed down for the night, and once Sarah comes back, see if she wants to do anything, call it.
Where?
She's taken. Piss break.
We'll just all stare at her profile
Yeah,
picture.
just stare, waiting for her to come back. As in the meantime, as you guys make your way up to your one larger room, there are 3 beds laid out, as well as 2 larger wardrobes against the opposite side of the wall. There are 2 windows set up on there so you can easily see the outside if you wanted to do a little bit of people watching. And there is a small nightstand with a couple of books on there, just basic, complimentary, almost like what you'd have like a Bible in your thing. There's very, almost like a tourist guide kind of thing in the room of this end.
The front page has like an ad for like a crappy
Yeah.
like tour of the town.
Exactly. It's like for only 5 silver pieces, take a scenic tour of Riverbrook.
I will look out the window.
You look out the window, make a perception check for me.
All
I'd say
right.
it's pretty damn dark. You don't have dark vision, bitch. Roll for
Nope.
disadvantage. Do it. It's like only.
Perception disadvantage.
Yeah, it's like the
You go.
only person I can do it to.
Well. Oh my goodness! I rolled the. No, 13.
13. All right, you make your way on. Your eyes take a little bit of time to adjust, but eventually you do get a good view of the outside. It's a quaint enough town. It's large for where it's located. It's larger than the normal villages in this area that you passed by, and it's almost like it's a very advantageous position for it to be next to a major road and a river for both access to larger shipping routes as well as just a normal trade hub between the eastern or western side of the Hessian coalition. And that being the case with the area that it's in, a lot of the buildings here seem to, oh, she died. A lot of the buildings here seem to be pretty well kept. So a lot of them are better than the ramshackle housings in the lower district. A lot of it's still made of wooden planks, but it is a very, very well kept area.
All right. I don't see anything suspicious happening.
Honestly, this late at night, this early in the morning, there's not much going on in the city.
All right. I lay down on the floor and fall asleep.
On the floor? Okay.
Yep.
I say there are 3
Listen,
beds.
comfort
One of them
is
is
a
vacant.
luxury. Comfort is a luxury I do not need.
Oh god, he's one of those monks.
Is it too late for me to talk to Sengen for a second?
No, he's still putzing around the area.
Okay. Before I go upstairs with my platter ham, I'm gonna walk over to him and ask a little quietly, are we planning on going to Millgrove eventually?
Well, it depends. I would say I enjoy your company, but you seem reliable enough. We got us out of a little bit of a tight situation, so we can make an extra day or 2 travel if you are willing. I might be able to find reason to go to Millgrove.
Okay. I've got business over there. I would like to get there preferably before the end of tomorrow, if possible.
It's possible. It might be a little interesting, seeing as it's a river barge. Depends on the way the waters are going, if we can move. Traveling by foot is definitely not the way to go, though. It would have to be over water, if that's okay.
That's fine with me. I just need to get down there.
All right, we'll talk to the rest of the group tomorrow morning and see what they think of the idea and see if you were fine with an extension to your contract.
Sounds good to me.
And as you start walking away, he just kind of like pokes up a little bit. It's like, sleep well.
I'm gonna do a good guy thing. I'm gonna flick him a silver piece.
He just like, he tries catching it, but just kind of like fumbles it and eventually like scrambles down and grabs it and pockets it and just kind of like looks up at you with these just like wide eyes and just amazement that you're actually paying him for and like doing something nice after the treatment he's had the past couple of days with this group. But with that, if anyone has anything else to do,
Stone of crashing waves.
all right. So you guys are all bedding down, you get nice and relaxed, and all of a sudden you just start hearing this very gentle, just this very relaxing, like ocean-esque feeling. And Rain, you're out like that. Just upon hearing that, you're just gone. But everyone else can get a very nice, well-deserved rest after negotiating your way out of a potentially violent encounter. And you made your way successfully to Riverbrook, and from there, we'll call it a night.
Woo! We
Cool.
did it.
Negotiations with a lightsaber.
Yeah, pretty much.
With my claws.
Negotiations.
Negotiate. But yeah,
I
that
feel
was.
like I might. I feel like I might slowly turn Rain into like a waterbender.
I mean, that's kind of my goal.
You can
More
already control
healing!
water.
Also, no,
we don't.
well, here's the,
We have a half healer, so.
see, I'm not going for healing. I'm going for like I'm going for more warrior style.
Mhm.
But like my main character's goal, like the reason why I do what I do is I'm like in between Buddhist and like a Muslim religious status. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I live as frugally as I can, sort of thing.
Justin, you weren't here for the one shot. In the one shot, my
Yeah.
character was an airbender.
Yes.
really?
It was.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
All right, so that's gonna do it for tonight's stream, everybody. I'm gonna just kind of let them talk real quick and then just do the outro here. Thank you everyone that came down. I apologize that some of the cameras at some points were a little bit wacky. I've got window captures up. I don't know how else to do it. But anytime that Sarah would turn off her camera, things would just kind of go a little sideways. So I do apologize for that. I will look into other ways to try to avoid that in the future. But again, thank you everyone for coming down, and we will see you next week in the world of Azthera.